Welcome everybody to Plat Chat Valorant, episode 139. I'm joined by the regulars, the fellas, Sideshow, Balla, and we've got a special guest in the building, Paper Thin. Fresh off the Pacific Ascension, which was fresh off the Masters Tokyo appearance, casting his butt off, not swearing in the first minute. If anyone swears in the first minute, you're banned from the show.
I'm trying really hard right now to make sure that my Plat Chat visa stays approved. So you know, now that we got something approved for champions, we're good to go, man. I'm excited.
Well, he got his Japanese visa finally as well.
Yeah, he got that too. Yeah, now he can go to Japan and go on vacation, I guess.
Nice. He has to work. If he turns up to Tokyo, he must work. Like, he's got to find himself a job in, like, a shop because he's got a work visa now. He can't just turn up and go on holiday.
Let's go work at a 7-Eleven for a couple of weeks or something, you know?
Dude, you've become the Slurpee expert. You know, Josh, so you've been a slushy expert, slushy slurp. Dude,
I don't think they don't have Slurpees in Japan.
It's all the same. Do they not have them in Japan?
No.
What?
I don't even know what a Slurpee is. What's a Slurpee?
Oh, hold
like
on.
the ice flavored drink.
You've never had like something dirty you would do to someone. Like, I'm going to give you the Slurpee.
Yeah, it is. I thought you would know. You called yourself the throat goat last week. If anyone was aware.
Oh, it's a slushy.
Yeah.
No, it's a Slurpee.
It's a branded
Well, I mean,
slushie,
I don't know the brand names that you
What
have.
do you think they were offering
at
at 7-Eleven?
I don't look at things that I don't want.
Again, Josh is just the certified freaky man. This guy is crazy. Josh, what were you doing this morning? You were being an artisan? What was going on?
Yes, I'm being a potter. So I've newly discovered a joy of getting down, getting clay, throwing clay into pots, then turning it, glazing it, firing it. I'm going to be the pot man. I'm making pots left, right, and center. Pot, 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 pot.
I literally hear it in your voice trying to think of a way to make that as dirty sounding as possible.
No, I'm not trying to make it dirty. I was trying to explain to you guys what my process was. There was nothing dirty about that. There's nothing dirty about wet, sloppy clay.
I saw a video, actually. I don't know. I mean, it's probably, I saw it on Twitter. It probably can't be shown on stream, but it's how I imagine Josh to be. There was a guy, what is it called? It's the wheel, right? Is that what you're using?
Yeah, the wheel.
Yeah, so it was basically, remember what Zelsis did in Americas? So imagine that, but he did it on the wheel and just started slurping away at the clay. And that's just... It was a video, I don't know, to go viral.
I mean, that's really unhealthy.
Yeah, I mean, and then he was like consuming clay on accident. But
anyway, the point being that I found a lovely artisanal hobby to do, and I'm not angry today. I'm coming in feeling fresh, feeling happy, feeling positive and optimistic.
That's great.
That's scary to me, but yeah.
No, that's not good. TikTok stocks are
Josh,
down
we need you to give us a we need you to give us a nice little TikTok. So can you pretend to get mad about it?
I'll just be really happy about things.
Okay.
That's maybe boring. Let's see what. All right, here's your first shot at being happy, Josh. You ready?
Okay.
Disguise Toast signed a new Game Changers team. Does that make you happy, Josh?
Whoa! Holy shit! Yeah, I mean that's as happy as I can be. I mean, I don't know whether I brought the same level of passion to it, but that's really cool. That's sick. I missed this news as well. I didn't even realize we were going to be discussing this. Tell me more.
I liked his follow-up tweet where he's like, "Here I go, burning money again."
Yeah.
Yeah. Surely there will be a return in the future. Patiently await the return on investment. But it is a good roster with some good players. Should be cool. Should be fun to watch. I'll actually be doing Game Changers with Mimi. This is for Game Changers Series 2, which starts online just after LCQ. So, yeah, hopefully Mimi and I will get a chance to analyze our cast.
For people like me that are completely out of the loop, like, what are the expectations for this team? Are they supposed to be like world beaters? Are they contenders? Are they like up and comers? How would you put them into a little box like that?
I'm definitely contenders, like a solid team that can contend with the upper teams. So,
what, like Shopify and V1?
Like a little bit below that, but, like up in the up in the top,
So
but not in like. V1
so
are kind of
contending, but not for the tournament win.
Yeah, I mean, I don't.
Yeah,
think
that's what I
good.
said. I didn't say.
Yeah.
I offered him world beat as if they were going to be like up at the very top.
Okay.
And he went for contenders. I understood.
I like the shift, because last time the Sky Stars did this, it was with a bunch of bigger content creators, with a few of the smaller players. Like, I think it was Tupperware played with them last time, and it was really good. I mean, there's very high viewership. Don't expect that same level, but at least he's like, bringing some light to some of these players who have played on so many different teams and are very, very good. So this is,
and I'm sure the viewership will be pretty decent.
Yeah, it's a more serious attempt at it, but with also bringing a lot of viewership. It's good, because actually the Game Changers NA viewership has been kind of in the dumps in general outside of Disguised, which has been kind of sad. Which, even with the insane storyline of the V1 essentially dynasty at this point, people are not as interested anymore.
Yeah, well, beginning of a dynasty.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like Alexis Mel and
Yeah, I know.
Every single Game Changer
with the Cloud9,
core.
ex Cloud9 people, but I mean, also just it was pretty significant last time how much like the players on the Game Changers team previously, like Tupperware specifically, just being on that team and Disguised co-streaming did a lot for boosting the viewership and the awareness. So pretty sick. Well, on the contrary, while Disguised signs a new team, other big orgs said, hey, let's drop everybody. So that's what's also been going on in the NA scene, specifically in Challengers, which, was kind of to be expected to some extent, because the format is, hey guys, it sucks. So there's going to be a bunch of teams dropped after 6 months. And what do you know? That's happening because orgs don't want to pay their players tons of money for 6 months while nothing happens until the next season comes around, and then they're going to scramble to make new teams 2 weeks beforehand, and then question why those teams aren't good, and then drop players before the stage 2 of the tournament starts, and try to reform to pray that their new roster will qualify them for franchising. That is my crystal ball prediction for the future.
It's crazy how accurate that is. It's ridiculous how accurate that is.
Shocking.
But it is Riot that have dropped the ball here, I think, in terms of not giving any clear idea of what the off-season is going to hold, or any idea of like not idea, but any, partnership with some kind of third-party tournament organizer that creates something for these players and organizations to be doing while they're knocked out of the main VCT circuit. I feel like the idea of the off-season is a really cool idea of padding it full of stuff, but things get organized so late, I guess probably because they're just focused on the main circuit, that there's no ability for people to see any value in sticking these rosters together. They don't know what's coming up. I mean, and then we're going to be 3 months down the road, and there's going to be a Knights freeze-out tournament and some show match, and that's going to be it.
Yeah.
It's pretty rough situation for the orgs. Like, you just need to get stuff started half a year earlier.
Yep.
And like, how are they gonna like get the money and the funds to keep themselves going? Like, like Bonkers from the Pacific one, right? Like they had to like fundraise, they had to like crowdfund so they could actually like bring some of their staff with them to the event in Thailand. Like, they're just a random group of dudes who like stayed together, and now they have like no support. Are they going to be able to find an org to support them for the rest of the time that they're going? I don't know. Like, we were talking about it with them, and they're in complete limbo. Like, and some of them are like, well, we might have to go play other games or do all this other stuff. So yeah, I agree with Josh here. It's kind of tough.
It's not very happy of you, Josh, first off. But second,
yeah, what happened?
Oh, I forgot about that immediately.
the way that I'll spin it to be happy is at least, some of these players get to start the offseason a little bit early in terms of like getting picked up by other teams and starting to look for offers elsewhere. Because that is a slight advantage, despite the fact that, the offseason doesn't really start until 2 months from now. It's after champs, September 11th, I think the date is. But yeah, I think it gives them like a little head start, kind of, not really in any sense of the place. When
the teams that get knocked out of LCQ are going to start thinking about that kind of stuff way before the official offseason begins.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
And those
Slight
are the teams
advantage.
that are most likely to make moves, right? Like if you're actually making it to champions, you're less likely to make moves. The people that are likely to make moves are the ones that get eliminated earlier.
Do you guys think there's any
Very
upside
happy of you.
Yeah, that was very positive. I thought you were going to say,
I
like,
love
I'm
when teams drop players. It's great.
I'm just excited that G2 get to save money. I think that's really awesome. But I was going to say, is there any reason, do you guys think, to actually, from the org perspective, keep a roster till next year?
Oh, 100%. It keeps faith in the players. It keeps faith in the team, and they get to be supported while playing the entire offseason. I think that's a big reason why, the guard did so well. Obviously, they had to shift one player. They lost their coach and stuff like that, but they were still on that team playing together the entire time. They were probably fielding offers here and there, but ultimately, like, they're able to stick together and able to do a run like they did. In comparison to a lot of these other teams where, for example, fucking FaZe doesn't announce their roster till the day of the match. Like it's all those players are completely in flux. They don't know what's going on. They probably feel a little bit resentful towards the organizations that, like, I don't know. Obviously, FaZe had those players, so they did kind of keep the roster. But there's resentment out there, I feel like, and sometimes new projects end up starting off pretty good with momentum and stuff like that. But it's kind of rare, I think, in this space.
But I also think that it's on Riot to introduce those incentives. Like I think you're right to ask the question, because from the organization's point of view, there aren't massive immediate, the returns that Barla's talking about are like the next year's returns, like if you're seriously hunting for an Ascension spot. But for most organizations, you need to create an incentive system that works for them by introducing more tournaments and more things that the players can play in, so that it doesn't feel like the org's just paying them to sit around and scrim and, seeing no match time, time on air, eyeballs on their team and their sponsors, anything like that. If you did that, and even if it didn't extend all the way up until the next season, if it at least extended until the beginning of when negotiations were beginning, then you've got your players under contracts where you can start, asking for buyouts, and then the situation becomes much more reasonable for organizations to keep people under contract for longer and pay them salaries for longer.
Yeah. I do.
And shouldn't they be able to make some content and get their players potentially streaming and stuff too? Actually start building a more towards the brand. If you are going to be serious about actually giving a go at getting into the tier 2 Valorant or out of the tier 2 Valorant scene, you have something there already. You have a presence on social media and all this other stuff, and then you can because a lot of these teams and players can do pretty well with streams and stuff like that. Just look at the Paper X guys or something. I think there's room to build if you're forward thinking, but it's hard in this current era. I think people are very short-sighted with a lot of their decision making.
I think both of these two teams are examples of teams that wanted to be in partnership really, really, really badly, and if they weren't in partnership, then they'll make a slight effort at trying to get through. TSM was early on to say we're staying on in challengers to try to get through, but I think the main goal for them is to have a team in partnership league, and if they don't have that, then what's the point of being in Valorant? I think that's what Josh is really referring to a lot when Riot's not even giving super incentives. So I think right now it's honestly could be timing plays to think about. Well, actually, I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure what's going to happen with some of the teams like the Guard. I did hear a rumor that some of these teams might be looking to buy up the Guard entirely. And obviously, I'm getting ahead of myself, but they've ascended, right? So it's thinking about that for both of these teams probably.
Yeah, I mean, increasing the incentives, fixing the format next year. Yes, Josh.
My brain. Sorry, what are you talking about, Arden? What is this rumor that you're talking about? With who's picking up the what?
No, the rumor. The discussion about the Guard is: are they going to be staying in because Karmine Group is not really investing into Valorant, right? They've laid off almost all their staff. It's a skeleton crew of people running. So people are talking about the fact that the Guard might not stay. Actually, even with the fact that they've ascended, right? Depending on
the organization even having won not
Correct.
being interested in sticking around in partnerships.
Correct.
Right. What I thought you were meaning was that the guard players would stay in the tier 2 level and just keep winning Ascension for other teams, like a roaming band of mercenaries who were charging premium prices.
Yeah,
like,
that's
we will
fucking
win
lit.
Ascension for you. Just pay us the bag. Like, how insane would that be?
That would be so sick, actually, though.
That'd be so good. Like, and then they come in next year, and it's like everyone's trying to group up to try and take down whichever. Like, G2 just throws the bag at the guard players, and it's like, all right, G2, they're the favorites to get in for 2025, and everyone's trying to group up on G2 to stop them making partnerships. Like that shit would be dope. I want them to do that.
It's like a Hunger Games. It's just like everybody standing there fighting against each other.
Wait, this doesn't even make the most sense for the guard. It makes the most sense for the bleed guys, like Scary. Scary already gave up
hell
partnerships
yeah.
once. Scary should be doing it again. Scary should be taking the bag from everybody he can find over and over and over and just boosting people into Ascension.
1 mil a year.
Paid boosting, yeah.
Every year.
Holy shit.
1 million, no less. Yeah, goddamn. I'm on a last note. I'm praying to God they fix the format next year. We've talked about it several times. I despise the way that the Challengers format was run this year. I'm praying that they fix that. I'm praying that there's more significant qualifiers. There are multiple qualifiers, not just the one at the beginning of the year. It's not just going to be 2 teams getting in. Which was the active thing that was going to happen, apparently, which is shit. So I am praying that is all fixed.
Dude, I didn't even mention, but yeah, I'm 100% in agreement with you. But this is also fucking champions practice right now. Chet was complaining about this because all these teams are just basically not playing after they qualified or didn't qualify for Ascension tournament, and there's no team scrimming except the partnership teams in NA right now.
Yeah. Yep, it is not the best for the tier 2 scene, but hopefully things can definitely still be turned around. It is not too late. But in other news, for a different scene, the Chinese scene, the game is finally being released. It is coming out tonight. A long time coming, and also they've got the replay system that everybody in not China wanted also, but we don't have that, so get trolled. And then also they get their own exclusive skins that look really cool, and I'm pissed about that too.
Yes.
Why can't I get
The game is launching in China. Fuck this shit.
Why can't I get the exclusive skins?
The knives are incredible.
The skins kind of go crazy. So, hey, good
Look
for
at
them,
this.
I guess, getting Valorant, but I'm upset.
I think it's cool to get an exclusive skin for something as awesome as this, right? Launching a game, I think that's pretty dope. I think exclusive skins based off of regions is a pretty good idea, to be honest.
Yeah, give every region an exclusive skin. I'm down.
No,
This is dope.
I mean, yeah.
Actually, yeah.
I think that's cool. I think that like increases, people's interests in other regions. Not that matters for the average player, but I think just for a global game like that, it's little interesting little tidbits that people can either look into or not. And then you also get cool things to flex when teams come to these global events and they play with their Chinese skin that nobody else has. I think that's awesome.
Unless they're available on the tournament build or something.
No, if you use the Chinese skin and you're not a China player, then you get banned instantly.
Okay,
Kicked off
what
the
about
stage.
what about the Taiwanese players? What are you gonna do with there? You're getting into very hot water.
So anyway, I'm so excited for the game to be released tonight.
Well, also the replay system, right? My understanding is that the replay system is not their final finished replay system. It's more of like a clip sharing, add-on thing. I don't know why they've put that in the China build, but not in the game itself, and why this is something. I don't know. Is this going to end up being tied to the main replay system? Is this just like a beta version that only has first-person functionality
It feels like it has to be like
I
a
don't get
stress
it.
test or something, right? Like they're just trying
Yeah,
to
I'm not
see if this
sure.
system can work. Like it's going to be massively popular in China, right? Like I'm sure the numbers are going to be out of control when this comes out. And like I'm sure there's just a way that they could be like, okay, let's just try it. Let's see how people use it. Let's really see if like it'll push our systems. Like there's probably like even like tech and IT stuff that's going into this, I would think as well. Just to make sure that it's like ready for when they actually roll it out globally, so it's not just a total shit show.
So my understanding is that it's not anything to do with the replay system that Valorant might or may not be working on. My understanding is culturally in most games, China always wraps the Western games in their own internal client. Like it's just
true,
already pre-built, and it's just basically metal.tv or a fucking OBS inside of the game or inside of the client that's just recording, and it's taking that performance and stuff like that. It's not at all like.
So we don't need to be deeply envious.
No, I think you don't need to be envious at all.
So they got shadow play in the game.
They got shadow play on the client.
Nice.
Okay.
Cool.
I mean, it is
But
cool.
there's a lot of other cool features. I mean, they have like guides in the game. They have watch feature in the client too. So like it is good. I feel like this is all just pretty awesome. Like you see the watch thing in the client right there that brings attention to the Chinese qualifiers that are going on right now. I think that's dope, and I think it's definitely something lacking. But I would like to see it in game for everybody. That sort of stuff is really nice.
Yes.
Yeah, it's only a matter of time until there's 20 cans at every international event, and it's a wrap for everybody else. The clock is ticking. It's almost over for us in America. It is almost over. All right, let's talk about actual matches that have been played. There's been a lot of things happening. The Ascension qualifiers, which we're going to cover both. We're covering all the LCQs, by the way, today, just as a little preview. So Ascension, LCQ, that's really the meat of the show. But we're going to start over in the APAC or Pacific Ascension, where Bleed took the win against Scars in the final 3-0. They had a mostly clean run. They had like the 2-1 against Boom before that. They did lose one series in the group stage, but overall looking quite dominant. Paperthin, what was your feel on Bleed watching them throughout this and their skill level?
I mean, they really like were who I thought they were. I thought they should be the best team. I mean, they have, in my opinion, like not only some of the best players. Obviously, everybody now knows that Scary, why he, got a huge fat stack of cash to come play there. It's because he's nuts. But also like the org behind it. Like I talk a lot to like Ominous from Bleed, their data and analytics guy, to kind of get perspective from him and stuff. But like he's really smart. He does a good job working with the coaching staff there. Everyone is really just like kind of focused on all the right things. It seems like to me, like they're when you can see them in game, their protocols are really good. I don't know how they lost to D+, because D+ was complete garbage at this event, except against them. Just so bad, dude. Oh my god. Anyway, but like I thought they were going to win from the outset. They were my pick right from the beginning, and they pretty much played to expectations, even better than I thought they would do in the finals. I didn't think they were going to 3-0 Scars, but Scars really struggled against them and it looked pretty predictable and readable to me. So it was exactly what I thought. I was really, really impressed top to bottom. Like all their players are playing really well too. It's not just Scary. Like, yeah, Scary's nuts, but like Darion does a really good job there on like the Sentinels and the controllers and stuff. And like everybody's really, really strong on that team. So we'll see what happens. Like I think Juicy might not be old enough potentially to play, I heard, in like in Pacific next year, so they might have to change a player out. I think he's 17.
Well, that's tragic for them though, because isn't Neff doing mandatory military service as well?
Yeah, Neff can't play either because he's
got to replace 2 of their players heading into partnerships.
I believe that's the case.
It's all right. Bleed is going to buy Ye and Nitro. Well, they're going to be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to drop the super ultra bag on some players. It'll be fine.
How old is Juicy then?
He's 16.
He's 16.
Okay. I can't remember the rules. Is it 17 to play?
I think there's like a grandfathering rule for last year, but I think that kind of expired. I need to refresh my
Who the
memory
hell is a
on it.
grandfather at the age of 17?
Munyet got grandfather.
Well, actually, Forsaken, Jing, all those guys, all the paperwork people
Holy!
are
Congratulations to Jing's mum, great grandmother. Her Instagram don't read great grandmother.
Guys says on Jing's mom's Instagram. But all right, Josh. Seriously, though.
Yeah.
Dead serious.
Yes.
I need you to say something positive right now about Bleed for the clip.
They played fantastically in the grand finals. I was not convinced that they were going to do if they ascended. I wasn't sure that they were going to do so super well in the Pacific Division up until they played in this grand finals, and I was really impressed. I think that their improvements in their teamwork, the way that they peaked off each other, their awareness of fights that are going to be taken was significantly higher in the finals compared to the games that they played before that, even the other playoffs games that they'd played. And if they can harness that level of focus, obviously with two different players, I didn't realize that they were changing two. I thought it was just Nev. I think they've got like a good core. Hopefully they're going to be able to find players that fit into that system well. But yeah, they dismantled Scars by a lot of the time just playing kind of just standard stuff and abusing the mistakes that they were making. I mean, this round's a good example, right? They punish the wide peak. Someone goes for a flash peak afterwards. They have people playing anti-flash. They pick off both of those players. They're in a 5v3. They're obviously going to win the pistol from there. And there were a lot of situations like that too. I do think that Scary is hands down the best player on this team, not just for the fragging, but also for the decision making that he has. Often Bleed will find themselves in a tricky spot and everyone else goes in to try and salvage the spot. And Scary's like, I think I know better than you guys. And he just takes a step backwards. And so you have some of the team rushing forwards and then Scary taking a step backwards. And so it does leave Scary in a lot of 1vx scenarios where he's probably made the right decision, in my opinion. And the rest of the team needs to learn from that. But I think the more experience they get, the more scrim time they get against top competition, they've got a good core here that could do some, serious work in a region where there's a lot of up and down in the middle of the pack in Pacific.
Yeah, they could probably beat DFM. So, I mean,
yes. Real.
That's not a high bar.
No, it's not. But I mean, I think in general, it felt like in the lead up to this, sometimes their comms were off. And I agree with Josh that it felt like everybody was kind of getting too ahead of themselves sometimes and not reacting to things the way that they wanted to. And I know that for a fact because I was talking to him a bit about it behind the scenes, and they just needed to just kind of get everybody on the same page, work on those protocols, make sure everybody's like you're talking about in the right place at the right time. They're calming correctly, and then when this sometimes the rounds go awry, that's going to happen. You've always got Scary there to just clutch you some miracle rounds. So it just looked like a really well drilled team. Crazy guy doing a great job as the IGL. He's really vocal. He's a really cool kid. He's a Vietnamese kid that, he's the only player now that's going to be in Pacific from Vietnam because Fancy United didn't make it. So it's just a really exciting storyline. Obviously, with Scary being the tie player in front of the home crowd, that place was so fucking loud. I mean, it was insane. The roof was just blowing off the place. Call NASA because that place went into space, man. It was amazing.
This might be the best clutch I've ever seen. I can't think of another one in Valorant that's better than this.
My jaw was on the ground. I literally just had to let Achilleos do his thing, and I was just watching the crowd because it was just so insane.
It's when you see him in that position, entering garage with 4 players around, it's just an unwinnable spot. And he catches the perfect timing as one player's jumping up and the other's re-exploring grass. And then gets the ult by killing one of the players, TPs with 4 seconds left to be able to get the plant down, and then wins a 1v2. It's a bit dodgy play from Scars, but the initial setup to get himself into a 1v2 is immaculate, I think.
Yeah.
And I've just never seen anything like this where everything just goes perfectly for somebody and they hit it all. And the other thing is too, Scary had so many moments like this earlier on in the tournament where he's in a 1v4 or a 1v5 or something, and he gets it down to a 1v1 and then, he can't quite get the final kill. That happened constantly. The game against Boom, I think he had 2 of those situations.
Yes.
And then, he pulls one of them off and it just looks insane.
I was watching back. I only watched the clutch during the live stream when it happened, and then I watched back the game. And the best part about it to me is that he was literally in multiple of those situations. There was literally a round, I think when they were at 9 rounds or something like that. And I was like, this looks identical because I've seen the clip. I was like, oh, this is when it happens. And I look at the score. I'm like, wait, no, that was when he won the game. I was like, am I stupid? Because I posted the clip. And then I watched it. He gets the spike in the same position, TPs to A. It doesn't kill anybody. It's still a 1v4. And I'm like, oh, okay. There was like 4 different situations where he was lost alive. And I think a lot of it comes down to what you were saying, where he makes the right play and the other teammates kind of don't, which maybe is a knock as well on Scary in general. But yeah, I mean, the setup for it was insane. For me, Bleed it's interesting. They only lost 2 series the entire year in Challengers. The one that you were talking about in groups against D+, and then one way back in the regular season against one of their opponents in Malaysia and Singapore, which is crazy. So to me, while they might have potential, I'm expecting them to, get beaten back down to earth immediately when they enter the Pacific League. Obviously, with 2 different players, it's going to be interesting. But they also have the opportunity to make an even better roster, right? With some off-season moves. Like,
do they? I was trying to think about this. Can you think about like people that would be good replacements for like Juicy, for example?
That's what they're duelist players. So like,
yeah, they're duelist player. I mean, would you just pick up like a cracked Korean Jet player?
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was just like, get another cracked Korean Jet. We've got tons of them. You've got like, there's like Bognan and some other guys floating around from the tier 2 scene. I mean, I would never pick up a Lau. He is just unreliable as heck. From D+, I would never go for it. But there's a couple other good ones. Selig, another player from used to be Real Company, then they became SLT, I think. Guys, teams change names so much I can't remember. But Selig's really, really good too, a really good duelist. So there's a couple players out there, and as long as you can common English, it's not a problem. So definitely. There's definitely tons of crack duelists out there, and initiators too. There's a lot of good initiator players, like especially breach players in Korea. Like that was a really popular agent early on in the scene. So,
and I'm also, Bleed's history is already, throwing the bag at some international players too. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this team wouldn't be one of the few teams that import players, or one. They can only do one.
Because I know a bunch of our players are going to get poached next year. I can already feel it coming. So, like, I know I'm so nervous about Forsaken since Jing has to do his military next year. And so, like, anyway, I don't even want to think about it. But, I would love to see, like, a EU player or an NA player come in. That'd be great.
Yeah, I also want to give a ton of credit to Crazy Guy because I only realized today that he was their IGL, and he pops off. He is a damn good player. He's also calling a good game most of the time. I don't like some of the team comps that Bleed play, and I'm not really convinced that they have great game plans across the whole of their map pool, but I really like their approach to 2 or 3 maps, and I don't think that I don't think that they're just running around like headless chicken. I don't think they're winning this tournament. They're winning all of their matches by simply being better. I think they also have some pretty good ideas about how they want to run. I mean, it varies from map to map, but yeah, he's really good. A very promising up-and-coming IGL in a scene where if you want an IGL replacement player, my God, you're digging down. Like, you don't know where to find them. Like, I was trying to
IGLs so bad in Pacific.
Everywhere though, everywhere. In Americas as well, and EMEA, I think is probably because I just don't know enough of the players in tier 2, but I can't think of many like big up and coming IGLs, and he's definitely one of them.
Yeah, dude, I have such nostalgia for Crazy Guy. This is such a deep cut, but I remember him subbing in at a DreamHack, like Stockholm tournament in CSGO, like 8 years ago for a team called Skyred, and he just popped off out of nowhere as an AWPer against Titan. Like he was dunking on Scream, which maybe is foreshadowing when they play against Karmine Corp next year. But I remember that because HLTV made a frag video called like Beast from the East, and it had a bunch of DDK commentary clips, and I liked the song so much that I used a song from the same artist for a TF2 frag movie. Super deep cut, random as hell, but I have some kind of connection to Crazy Guy where seeing him I was like, holy shit, it's Crazy Guy, he's back from that tournament I watched like 8 years ago in CS, and the frag movie I really liked, and because he looked really good. Also, shout out to Jemkin because he dropped 0 on map 2 and then farmed on map 3. So just shout out to the mental resilience from the man. Dropped
the 0 kill
and then dropped 29. So big shout out to him. You know what I'm saying?
Unfortunately, the worst stat line of all time.
He turned it around
because of being on Reyna. Yeah, 100%.
He turned it around.
I don't even understand how that happened. I was watching the game, and then I was watching it live, and then I went back and I rewatched it, paying attention to Jemkin and the fights that he was taking. My dude got boomed in like round 4, and then just didn't want to take fights, and when he did, he was just getting owned. I don't know. I don't know how he managed to recover from that situation, but you can't win when your Reina's dropping 0.
The Reina train needs to stop. You're not something. You're not doing what Paper Rex are doing. Everybody's playing it so much differently. They're just using it as an entry tool, and it's fucking weird, and nobody's comboing any of the flashes. The only 2 Reinas that have played an acceptable composition, other than, when Reinas pop off, and that's okay, that's fine too sometimes, but you're obviously mad gambling. The only 2 Reinas, something on Bind and Ascent, and then Giuliano on Pearl. Those are the only 2 Reinas you can copy. And if you're not copying them, then you're trolling by playing Reina. Almost.
When you don't have a harbor in the comp is a big problem with it. I think you like the way that the Reina can use those walls and the Leers through them, or even kind of have some escapability with the help from the harbor utility. I think is really, really important to what part of what Paper X does with Reina to make it function. So yeah, I fully agree.
It was a funny map.
What were you saying, Josh? It
was a funny map.
It was a funny map. You enjoyed yourself.
Yeah, I did.
Watching a guy in his worst moment professionally. You were just sitting there, just relishing.
I'm being happy this episode. It was bringing me a lot of joy.
God. All right. Let's keep this thing moving. Staying in Pacific, though, we are going to move on to the LCQ. And we're going to start things off with the bold predictions, where we're each picking our winner of LCQ. Now, I don't know what to believe. I'm not sure what to believe. Are we going to all be picking the same teams here? I feel like that's unlikely.
I don't think so.
I think Pacific is going to be the most wild.
Yeah, I think Pacific might be the craziest.
It's so hard to predict. It is so hard to predict who's going to do what, because these teams are just really even, actually, in terms of their current skill level. And I've even been hearing, I'm not even kidding, I've been hearing it from a couple different sources now that DFM's kind of getting their shit together. They actually.
My source on the inside of DFM. My source who holds a lot of stock in DFM. Guys, it's a good time to buy. It's a good time to buy.
Definitely, I may or may not be a frequenter of Wall Street bets as well. But this is I've heard that they're kind of figuring their roles out a little bit more now. They're getting Suggest back into the mix, potentially not on Duelist or Sentinel. So maybe I've heard that they're playing better behind the scenes. We'll see if that actually means anything.
They only have to win 5 games in a row. Then they can do it. They only have to win 5 against teams they've never beaten.
If they win 2, then they can still lose 1.
They can. They could lose 1 and then win. They could go 5-1 or 6-1. Either way, they have to beat a lot of teams that they've never beaten before. But God damn it, it's possible. All right, Kurt, how do you want to do this one at a time or all at the same time? I kind of like all at once because then we can react. Kurt, let's react. The bold predictions. Oh, we have all picked different teams.
It's all different.
All picked different teams.
That's so good.
God. All right, for the audio listeners at home, Bala has picked Rex Regime Keon. Josh has gone with Team Secret. I have gone with Global Esports. Hello, India. And Paperthin has gone with Zeta Division. I mean, I don't know where to begin. The Paperthin, take it away.
Can we start with nobody picked Gen.G?
I mean, Gen.G,
no chance.
I mean, Gen.G at the end of the season were just. I have no faith in Gen.G. None. Zero faith. So. Yeah, they're gonna lose the detonation. It doesn't even matter. They're gonna be out.
I'm done with Gen.G. I can't anymore. After watching that collapse, I just don't know how they don't just fall to a couple of those teams. A lot of those teams should be better, in my opinion.
All right, Paper, then kick us off though.
Yeah.
Sure. Tell us about Zeta. Why are they winning? This is your moment.
I have this is just pure hopium or copium. I really don't. I wanted to pick RRQ, but I'm a little worried that something might happen because of this whole situation with Flipsider and 1010. So I don't know if Flips might miss some of the tournament potentially. I don't know exactly what's going on with that. So I want to pick RRQ because I think probably they're the best team at the end of the year. I think overall, like their strategy, their preparation, all those things is the best. But I think like Zeta did still like push all their opponents. They play a very different style than most of the other Pacific teams. They're very, very slow. They're more of, I guess, a European style. And here's the real reason. Chamber's kind of back. So Laz on Chamber just takes over matches and they get through. That's all. That's my.
I see where he's taking us. I could get on board with that. As a Zeta division enjoyer, I will say watching them this past season caused me immeasurable pain, and I should have been hospitalized after watching several of their games because they have this tendency.
How do you think I felt?
I mean, they just have this tendency to play some excellent rounds and then some of the most appalling rounds you will ever witness in the same game, and it driving me fucking crazy. I would love for them to win. I would love for them to do well. I struggle to believe they can string it together in a crucial BO3 against another good team right now. I'm holding out hope for Zeta Division in the future because I do think they're like a couple roster moves away from actually being great. I don't know enough about the scene in Japan with upcoming players who they could replace them with, but the game is so big. There has to be someone to replace like 2 people on this team, for the love of God. They are so close to being good. They're so close.
Scars just made it to fucking second place Ascension. I mean, I'm not saying take those players, but that's just proof that the game, like the popularity of the game is actually building out really, really good Japanese.
But also, don't Scars only have 2 Japanese players?
Yeah,
get them in.
Only Alan and Tornico.
Get them both
only
in.
Alan and Tornico.
Get them both in right now. It'll be better. Get them in.
The other 2 are dead. That Yoshi's Filipino and Crystal and Jemkin are Russian. Although I think Jemkin has lived in Japan for a long time, or might even been born there. I'm not sure. But
I think he must have. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to play in the challenge in Japan, right?
Yeah. But anyhow,
there is a real just dearth of players in Japan. Like it's all viewership. It's really strange. Like the player numbers in Japan is low. Like the total number of players is lower than it is in Korea right now. So like there's less people playing in a country that has like twice as many people.
That's absolutely bizarre.
Yeah.
But also because the viewership is out of control. Yeah. I did hear that actually from a lot of the Japanese people that we were talking to that were involved in the Valorant scene in Masters Tokyo. They were saying that the game has just popped off as a spectator sport. It's not like everyone goes home and they grind ranked and enjoy that aspect of it. They like watching the streamers and they like watching the matches and they like, the co-streams and stuff. And that though is, I didn't realize it went to that degree.
Yeah, consider me educated.
Yeah,
I would never.
I've learned today. I love edutainment. I honestly though, Paperthin, I'm kind of the Laz Chamber thing. My eyebrows raised when I heard that point. Balla
that's a good point.
Balla's rolling his head around, but dude, keep that head nice and straight position.
The keyword that Paperthin said is Chamber's kind of back. Okay,
dude, we'll see.
I'll give you a little. Yeah,
we shall see. All right, Ball, defend your bullshit pick then, huh?
Bullshit pick. RRQ at the end of the season was godlike. They were toe to toe with Paper X to qualify for playoffs. It was something they were also playing out of their mind. I mean, RRQ, every single game that I watched that I tuned into. Obviously, there were some bad ones too, but they just continued to get better and better and have so many good ideas and have players that are actually popping off. So I think with more time, even still, this team to me should be easily locks. In my mind,
no, go on.
In my mind, the end of group stages, if they had made playoffs, if they had one more win or if some miraculous situation happened, they would have gone on a run and we would have seen them in Tokyo. I'm that convinced with the end of the season for them.
I thought that I was going to come out with a hot take and say that like RRQ was going to make it to the grand finals, and everyone was going to be like, "Oh, what the fuck are you talking about?" And then Bala's like, "Oh no, they're going to win it all."
And that's
so
not
you've
even
just
my hot
absolutely you've ruined my hot take. I mean, it's not hot anymore, is it? It's just lukewarm. It's like bathwater. But one of the reasons why I was interested in the RRQ so much is because it felt very tumultuous watching them during the season, but with the benefit of hindsight a little bit, if you look at their match results, since the 2nd of April, they only lost to the teams that made it to Masters Tokyo. They only lost to the top 3 teams of T1, DRX, and PaperX. Everybody else, like they beat Team Secret, they beat Global, they beat Talon and Detonation at the bottom 2, and they just had that bad beginning where they lost to and Gen.G looked good at the start of the season too. So, I feel like the story here is of a team that could do very, very well in an LCQ format where PaperX, DRX, and T1 are not involved.
And another
They're
thing
still going to lose to Secret, though.
Are they?
I mean, yeah, Josh, give me
They might
your,
lose to GE.
Dude, give me your boring, I pick the team that made it the furthest in playoffs ass. Dude, your pick is so boring, I'm going to think about it tonight, and it's going to replace my insomnia hydroxine pills, dude. It's so fucking boring. Go tell me about how Secret are going to... Oh, the favorites are going to win.
Secret aren't the favorites. They weren't the team that made it the furthest. Gen.G was the team that made it the furthest.
Wait, did they actually?
Yes.
No fucking way.
Yes.
Hold on.
Yes.
I got to check. Kurt, pull up the data. There's no way. There's no way Gen.G made it the furthest.
Team Secret literally lost to Gen.G.
I removed this from my memory. There's no... They did! What the fuck? There's no way.
It was so annoying. I was so mad.
Dude,
seriously.
There's no way. How I just... I have just put Gen.G in the bad category in my brain so hard that I just couldn't even conceive that that was possible when you said it. I can't believe that happened. But never mind.
Mean, technically, Gen.G are the favorites, if you want to put it like that, because they got the deepest through the playoffs. But they looked awful at the end of the regular season, and they're so up and down. I've seen really good stuff from them at the start, and you could argue towards the end in those final couple games or whatever of playoffs, but the middle portion was disastrously poor, and I just have no confidence that Gen.G are going to get back to that spot. However, with Secret, I like this team. They've got good firepower, they have good ideas. I think if they've been in the lab a little bit, they'll come out with some nice things. They're also on by far the easiest side of the bracket. I mean, look at the 4 teams that we've picked. 3 of them are going to face each other in the first couple of matches. Yep. Global plays against RRQ, and then the winner plays against Zeta. You guys are going to be taking lumps out of each other, while Team Secret smooth sails to a minimum top 3 finish. Admittedly, as long as they can get through Gen.G, who have beaten them in playoffs just recently, like their most recent game.
Dude, I cannot believe Gen.G beat them. I seriously just vacated that from my brain.
It was the only win Gen.G had in 2 months, I think. It was so bad.
That is crazy to me. But okay, Josh.
I like your pick, Josh.
Your pick is fine then. Your pick
I do
is
too.
But my hot take was going to be that whoever wins the game between Global and RRQ was going to make the grand finals along with Team Secret. I think that's
for
top
my
side
hot
of the bracket.
take
It's
then,
pretty
because
sick.
mine is, I'll read it off my fucking notebook. RRQ and Global is the real grand final in this LCQ. And to confirm it, I'll say whoever wins this game wins LCQ.
Oh, you just got the hotter version of mine. Goddamn.
And this is when I was coming up with stakes. If you guys want to accept my hot take, you have a little bet to go on. Okay, this was when I was getting a little less creative. You guys have to, if Global or RRQ win, Wyatt, you're kind of exempt from this, I guess, because you already have Global predicted.
Yeah.
But you have to change your name to whatever your name is on Twitter. Add Musk to the end. You have to buy Twitter Blue, and for the next month, you have to reply to random rumors in the Valorant scene with, interesting. And
that is a repulsive bet. That is a vomit-inducing proposition.
That is awful.
I'm sick to my stomach.
I would never.
I will absolutely do that. I will take that bet 10 times out of 10. 10 times out of 10. I just there's just no okay. And here's the counterpoint. I barely ever tweet, Bala, so this is almost nothing. But if it doesn't come true, all you have to do is tweet at me. Every time I tweet, just reply with King. That's all I want.
Okay, done.
That's all I want.
100%. Yep. For the next what? Like obviously, like what? A month?
Just
The
until-
same timeline.
Yeah, until Champs is over or something.
Okay. Bet.
I'm going to talk about
I
my...
actually made a bet. I want to say this. I made a bet for champions, and I'm going to officially announce this right here that if a Pacific team wins
exclusive bet.
champions, if a Pacific team wins champions, I am going to grow my hair out.
Oh.
Wait, what are those hair follicles producing, bro?
Plat chat exclusive.
Like, I'm not
Plat chat
sure.
exclusive.
I don't know how often you shave, but like, what's the production rate up there?
It's not the best, no. This is like probably 3 days of growth, 4 days of growth there.
So what does it look like if it grew out?
I'm not sure anymore. It's been about 10 years since I last did.
Yo, we're gonna see fucking next year. Fucking Paper Thin's gonna be Bob Ross looking ass.
I feel like you're just gonna grow a mullet, like
that
just
could
a
happen.
mullet.
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be
Jesus.
incredible.
All
Yeah,
right.
there you go. There you go.
I'm going to give a quick little global spiel. I'm not going to go too
Okay.
crazy with it, all right? But here's what I will say. Picking global esports, I feel like they're the team with the most growth potential, all right? I think it's
Like my hair.
Yes. Well, TBD. I don't know if there's a lot of growth potential. There's definitely
Yeah,
more
that's what I'm
growth
saying.
potential in global esports. I think it's a very simple formula, all right? I think global esports, starting off the season, had the wackiest, weirdest roster to begin from, and a ton of work to do and laying the foundation and going from there. As the season progressed, I was seeing a lot of signs of Aaron doing a great job with this team.
Yes.
SK Rossi becoming more and more impactful as time went on throughout the season. Monyet was straight up a beast the whole time. And I think that they're one of the teams, I think, in this region that I think time is a bigger benefit to them than other teams, is essentially what I'm getting at. I think that they're the team that with this month and a half down period could have made the most improvement because they started in such a weird place compared to a lot of these other rosters. And I really like where they were at towards the end of the season. And I'm hoping that improvement throughout the season is carrying over. They're coming in. Aaron's gonna continue to do the good work that he was doing. I thought that in a lot of aspects of their game, fundamentally, he had them way better drilled than a lot of the other teams they were going up against. I want to see more of that. I believe in global. Hello, India.
I second that motion. I really think they're really good. I mean, talking to them now, like they had so many problems getting players to Korea, getting them their visas, and being able to sit down and practice together for a solid amount of time, and not just having to like prep for the next match. You know, now they can actually work on their protocols and their communication and all these things that were probably a little bit out of whack when, you know, finally SK Rossi and Lightning Fast got to Korea. I'm right there with you. I actually have a lot of faith that this team could make a run, and it really sucks that whoever loses between them and RRQ is just done. Like that's just it. There is no second chance until you get to the upper semis. So that one's a really tough match to predict. But I think this GE team is solid, like top to bottom, great players. You've got Demon Yet, like the absolute just most bananas controller player we have. He might even be better than Mako. I don't know. And they could definitely get it done, man.
Holy hot take. I feel like that's just won the hot take of the year award there.
No, that's
I mean,
the realest
Monyet
shit
is.
he's ever said.
I mean, Monyet's become a really quite excellent player, yeah. But Mako, I mean, calm it down over there, oh hairy one.
My Mako stocks went down a little bit recently. He's slid in the last couple of months. So I don't know. I mean, so is all of DRX. So that's not saying a whole lot, I suppose. But I think, yeah, maybe Monyet. Maybe.
Here's the thing that really concerns me about Global is that I still don't think that they've got Rossi integrated really well with this team. And I'm not sure that it's going to pay off in the long term having him play Permajet for the team. It's whenever they get beaten, he's just getting his head whacked. He's got such a like all or nothing idea of how to play the game that And I think that that's because he's just hyper confident because he just beasts everybody when he's been playing the other South Asian teams before coming into Pacific. But he's one of the only Jet players that you see swing wildly positive to negative depending on whether the team wins or loses. And on top of that, he gets battered in the first kill department because he just won't stop taking similar duels when he's losing. Like he doesn't adjust to take smarter fights or adjust how he plays. Are they going to have fixed that since the last time they played? I'm not sure it'll be enough to win.
Yeah. To me, it's the same criticism I had for them at the end of the season. I agree with you, Josh. And in terms of Rossi, I do like his permajet, so that's somewhere I differ. But I think he falters in pressure moments, and especially he's not great in specific strats that Aaron wants to call, which are control strats to take a specific spot of the map on attack side and then hold it or use it to execute whatever. Those types of places he is not exactly sure of the timing, and I think I put them not making playoffs on him playing in that pressure game and having some big mess ups where he smokes off a team or something like that, entirely misses something, and that is not something that can continue for him. And I think going into an LCQ like this is immediately going to get tested because it's a single elimination match against RRQ. But there was definitely some other things too. Like I wasn't a big fan of Aaron's Harbor. I think he can improve that. There's oftentimes a lot of gaps in that for him, but overall still a good team. I still think, again, I'm serious when I say both of these teams in my mind are like really, really good. It's just a matter of pressure for me, and that's why I go with RRQ instead. But if, for example, RRQ loses, who is it, Flipsider, for whatever he said against
sorry, what's the reason here? What's going on? I missed this when you said it earlier.
Yeah, so 1010 is he's Meteor's younger brother, and he used to play. He got dropped by from Northeption. He's a duelist as well, so they were playing in ranked together, and they said some things to each other that were not very pleasant. I'm not going to repeat them, but it was mostly 1010 who was kind of more on the egregious side of this battle. But apparently it had been going on for a couple of days, and apparently a lot of it's on streams because Flips was streaming it. So there was some, let's say, toxic behavior that was going on between them.
Are we talking toxic, or are we talking like racist slurs being thrown around or something?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So with the idea there being that he might get disciplined and taken out of the team for it.
Potentially.
Right. Yeah, that would be
that would make sense.
Yeah, you lose your IGL. Yeah, sucks.
All right, let's. We're already getting into the that matchup with Global and RRQ, so let's just go through the pick'ems. We can start with the real banger: Talon versus Detonation. Guys, is anyone getting silly? Is anyone getting silly?
But is it even?
It's not that silly.
I feel like it's not even silly to doubt Talon. But I guess it kind of is because they've just historically been a decent team. I guess it comes down to whether or not you believe that they're gonna. I mean, surely Talon can't continue sucking as bad as they have been.
Talon were better towards the end of the season, though.
To me, it's all about how in it they are. Like Talon kind of sometimes just gets checked out, and they don't. And they were moving, Pat all over the place. Like he literally played almost every agent in the game during Pacific. So like, I think they're going to keep him on Duelist, and I think therefore Talon should probably have a slight edge. But again, if what I'm hearing is true, like DFM has been kind of fixing their shit. So I don't know. I could actually see this going DFM.
I mean, for me, the biggest thing that I would say is going against DFM is that they won 2 maps in Pacific. I think that's really the albatross around their neck.
They really pushed paper racks.
If you don't factor that in, though, if you just think about where they could take it from there, if you just think about the trajectory is only up from there. It's possible. But I'm going to go with Talon, because also, if I remember correctly, Talon were doing better as the season went on. Like, towards the end of the season, they actually started putting up some good results.
Not really.
You're shaking your head?
It was a mixed bag the whole way through.
I'm getting the data. Hold on.
It was because they finally figured out that,
they
hey,
did.
we should just play Patty Pan on Jet or on Duelist. Like, that's actually the solution to their biggest problems.
They beat Gen.G,
yeah,
they
but
beat
they-
Zeta,
but so
they
did
took a
everybody
map
else.
off PaperX, map off Rex Region Keon, and they beat Detonation. I mean, that's not bad.
They're solid.
All right. You know what the biggest thing going for is Pat changed his name from Pat back to Patapen, so it has to be talent. Like,
Oh,
it's,
okay,
for
well,
real, it's the truth now.
There you go.
He's done
Also
messing
true.
around.
Also true. I'm not allowing us to spend any more time on this game. Kurt,
Thank
lock
you.
it in.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm not allowing it. All right. Let's do Rex Region Keon Global first because we were already talking about that one, and Ball said it's the grand finals. Ball, who are you going with? Well, I already know. Rex Region Keon. I'm already going with Global. It's on Paper Thin. It's on Wilkinson. What are you guys thinking?
I mean, I would go with RRQ unless Flip gets suspended. I don't know how. I was unaware of that situation, so I don't know how likely it is to occur or how egregious the infractions were. But I mean, I don't know. I guess I'll go for RRQ because I feel like if they had their full rosters, I would expect RRQ to win. But I mean, big asterisks on this game if Flip can't play.
Yeah, I'll go with RRQ as well. Yeah.
Ooh. All right, Gen.G Talon. I guess Gen. I mean,
Yeah, this is a begrudging Gen.G for me as well.
I mean, Talon beat them in the regular season.
I think Talon's gonna win this. I think Talon's gonna win this because, like, the thing is like, I think Patty Pad's actually a better duelist than Meteor sometimes. Like, Meteor's been really up and down this year. He really struggles, like, under pressure and in, like, against, like, duelists who are as good or better than him. Like, he has really not had the best performances. So, I mean, I'm not, like, God Dead, like, came in strong for Gen.G. He's been pretty not great since. They're very readable, so if they've really kind of gotten some new strats and stuff, maybe they can do it. But I kind of want to pick Talon, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of want to pick Talon too. Meteor is good, but dude, him and Gen.G just had, there's some massive disconnect. Like, he's not in the team speak with them. Like, they're playing a match and he's in a different server on an E-date over Discord while they're playing the match and the other guys are calming. Like, they're never synced up. It drives me nuts, even though he's good.
I feel like I might have sold you too heavily on Gen.G just by telling you that they beat Secret earlier, Wyatt. But also, like, they did make it the furthest in the playoffs, right? Yeah. But that's the only match that they've won out of the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 matches. And
Talon.
They went 1 and 2 in playoffs, the same as Secret did. They just happened to get further because they lost the first and won the second. Like, the format just gave them the.
They did
the
play
furthest
decently against T1, if I remember correctly. Like,
yeah,
T1
they did.
struggled in that game. They only won because they, like, came back with, like, massive thrifty round wins, like, over and over.
Yeah.
That's my memory of it. For some reason, Gen.G just played better during playoffs than they did during the regular season. Now, the question is whether they feel comfortable about that performance, or if they're still in the dumps about how they were in regular season, or if they start repeating the same mistakes from the regular season, because maybe it's just a long season that hurt them in the first place, like adjusting week after week.
Trolling.
Yeah, agreed. This is why to me it's a begrudging Gen.G, just because of the playoff performance. And now it's time. It's not within the league anymore.
Go on then, send it.
Wait, send it on who? Because Ball has Gen.G, I have Talon. Paper, then you have Talon too, right?
Talon, yeah.
Josh?
Oh,
yeah. So
I mean,
I'm the
whatever
only
then.
Gen.G.
Let's go Talon.
All right.
I really don't know or frankly care, because I don't think the winner of this is going to do well in the tournament anyway. And they've annoyed me throughout the entire season with their performance, because both teams should have been good and in fact have gobbled throughout the entire season.
Yes.
Gen.G is winning LCQ.
Dude,
Get me a pot! Get me some clay!
Someone put on the movie Ghost for him so he can relax.
All right, let's take a deep breath. Zeta versus RRQ. Zeta division.
I picked Zeta.
Zeta up.
Oh, it's tragic because I really would have gone with RRQ, and now you've put the worm of doubt in my head with the Laz Chamber. But I just don't think you can run Laz Chamber on enough maps, right?
I don't know.
Where are they going to be
Just
running?
force it. Who cares?
Where else?
Yeah, just play it everywhere. Who gives a shit?
Just force it. Who cares?
Fracture.
Yeah.
You got to get the Killjoy. No.
Fracture. Yeah, no.
100%.
I could see Split. I could see them running on Split.
I'm going RRQ. I think RRQ win this one.
It's a coin flip then. Or Kurt flip.
Dude, Depp is going to Depp all over them. I swear to God.
Yes.
Depp is so
yes.
good. He's gotten so good, man.
I stand Depp so hard.
Here we go.
Which is which? Which is which? Which is which?
We're on the right. We're tails.
What have we said about flipping Zeta? We shouldn't be doing this.
Zeta is Zeta is heads.
Okay.
It's not working. There we go.
Oh, dude,
let's go. Dude, I tried to think of a hot take where the stakes where Zeta has to fucking get flipped by Josh again, and I just couldn't think of it. I couldn't think of it.
I'm upset.
I'm sorry.
Team Secret, Talon.
Make it work.
Secret.
Yeah, we don't even have to.
My top 5 teams in APAC.
I think Talon might have beat Secret in the regular season, didn't they? In Pacific?
I think it was a really early game.
It was really
week
close.
1 or week 2.
It was really early. Yes. I'm trying to remember. Because like Team Secret came out the gates, they beat Paper Rex, and like they looked really good.
Yeah, it was the very first week they played, and it was Secret just like full Paper Rexed on them, if I remember correctly.
Oh, okay,
it was just like full on just sending it always. And Talon were
it's frustrating though because Gen.G or Talon have played at peaks where they would be able to beat Secret, but it just comes down to whether or not they can hit that form, I think, during this tournament. I think this tournament's going to be won on form. It's not going to be won on consistency. I think someone's just going to go on a run.
I think aside from that weird loss to Gen.G that I excised from my brain, I think that Secret, typically though, they're so consistent for me. They're always on this same, they are a solid team level. Yeah. And often against these swingy teams they're kind of off the rails, I think that's where they can thrive. But all right, let's start with the lower round. Zeta versus Talon. Zeta. Laz.
Yeah, go on then.
He's playing Chamber. Sugar Zero's not going to troll, and Crow and 10 just have to be fine. All right, and then let's go to the upper final. RRQ versus Team Secret.
RRQ?
I think Secret wins this one.
Yeah, I'm going to Secret. I think Secret just is really consistent. Yeah.
Arden's reign of terror.
Jesse Vash, great IGL.
Dude,
I
fucked this pick'em up so hard. Like in terms of like expectations and what like people actually like think about these teams in general, nobody is like this high as I am on RRQ. So I love to see it.
No, actually, no. Most of us think here in Pacific that RRQ is either going to win or be in the finals.
Oh, really?
Like, yeah. Most of the talent here, like we're all talking about it. Like we're all like, yeah, RRQ. Hey, like most of the picks are actually RRQ.
Can I get my Pacific ID card now? Finally,
Yeah. When Gen.G win LCQ, we are going to look like clowns. Yes. We are going to have to dress up with red noses. I mean, everyone in the comments is going to be, you dumbasses. Of course they're going to win. They've got King on the team, top Korean squad. What are you thinking? And we're just going to be sat there just eating the humble pie.
To be fair, in these LCQs, the Korean team always fails. So it's all good. I think we're
classic.
Safe. Yes. The Korean team always fails.
EDG won the previous one. I can't even remember back before that.
It was Full Sense in 2021.
Oh,
Full
yeah, it was.
It was against the Japanese team in the final.
Yep, it was against Northampton. Yeah.
Yep. And then last year, somehow, like, did Onslayers make it back? I don't remember, but it was EDG just farming.
Yeah, it was Onslayers.
Yeah, EDG was just so much better than everyone else at that tournament.
The Korean team made a run, though. They made a run.
Yeah, they got into
Gen.G in the finals.
Second place.
Yeah, Gen.G.
Oh, Lord, don't curse me with that. All right, what was that lower bracket then? Right, Zeta and RRQ.
Don't do this to me, guys. Oh, we flipped a coin for this one. Are we
I have to go Zeta. Coin? I picked up the win. I don't have a choice. Like, I'm stuck with this.
For some reason, I think the second time, though, if this does happen, but this doesn't make any sense because I had Zeta winning the first time, so they might not even play a second time. But in this theoretical world where I already predicted them to win the first time, I now think RRQ will win in this situation again. So, like, I've flipped sides.
Let's go.
By the way,
this is the final I had.
Again, if Flip doesn't play, this entire bracket is just broken.
Yes.
I mean, are we just okay? What about this? If Flip didn't play, would we have Global doing the same thing that RRQ did?
I would, yeah.
I would just have Global winning everything.
Sure, why not?
So that would be the difference. But
I'm not sure I wouldn't feel as comfortable about Global beating Zeta twice.
Didn't they play in the tournament? I don't remember anymore.
They only played once because G didn't make playoffs.
Zeta beat them 2-1, right?
What is Kurt cooking out here?
What is Kurt? Oh, he's just redoing it with Global. Wait, how the fuck did you do this?
How was Global?
Holy
dude,
What's happened?
How did dude?
That was crazy.
Get Carl Yangshang on the line. We need to fix this website. Yes. And I'm going Secret again in the final. I mean, I think if Secret are going all the way here, I am going with Secret. I was so impressed this season with how well individually Jesse, Vash, and Dubstep were playing. Aside from
especially Jesse.
Yeah, like I feel like they really, and yeah, especially Jesse stepped it up from where we had seen their level at previously. So I'm going
and
Secret.
Envy is crazy good.
Yeah, Envy was the big surprise to me.
He is the truth.
So
Borkham has insane clutch moments too. Like, this entire team is really good. I'm not mad if you guys go Team Secret, but I do have faith in RRQ, but I wouldn't be surprised if Team Secret won. I thought they have the most paper Rex in them out of anybody, and then they can play slow. They have a really good understanding of how to switch up the pace, and their improv setups are fantastic. Out of almost any team that I can think of, if they get into a weird situation, they're able to find the correct play between multiple players, and it's beautiful to watch sometimes. Sometimes as well, they end up getting Gen.G. So it's a little bit of consistency thing for me for Team Secret.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable with this, despite Global going out immediately and them being my pick. I'm perfectly fine with this as an alternate bracket.
There's any number of ways that the Pacific LCQ could go. I think it's the most wide open of all of them.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know.
I've been agonizing over it.
Silly picks later, except for an EU, because, dude, I don't even want to talk about that region, but we have to. The higher ups told us we had to talk about Europe today, so whatever. All right. Well, I think that is going to just about do it then for everything in this first half of the show. We have talked everything Pacific. We have talked everything NA orgs dropping all their teams and players to save money. We have talked China getting exclusive skins. We have talked Gen.G being shit. We talked Sky signing a new Game Changers team. And we talked about Wilkinson making phallic pottery. So on that note...
Not phallic. There's nothing phallic about the pottery I'm making.
Are you sure?
I
thought you were getting pegged. That's what you posted on Twitter.
Everything. Yeah, dude, you are freaky, man. All right, Paper Thin, thank you so much for joining us and lending your knowledge to us in this Pacific section of the show. It was great to have you for the first time. And then
I did it.
Sorry, we need to do this, Wyatt. Paper Thin, can you please talk about DRX real quick?
What do you want to know?
I just want to know how you feel.
What do you mean?
I just want to know how you feel.
Okay, so for me, this is strictly a mental thing for DRX. Why have they fallen apart? Why do they look like this? What's going on with Foxy? I'm not been told any of this. I'm not privy to any conversations. This is just from what I've seen, watching them on stage, how they interact with each other, some of the comms videos that VCT Pacific has released. I think there's a lot of disagreement right now on how that team should be run, how they should be practicing, what they should be focusing on potentially, and I think they're trying to figure that out. So I think there's just there's burnout. You could tell with players like Stacks and Buzz and those guys who've been really grinding. Are they getting grouped? No, they won't get grouped, but because they just don't get grouped. But they won't. I don't think they'll go far. I really want them to. I really want them to turn it around. And I think the reason they keep flopping between Foxy and Zest is, I think they want to give Foxy opportunities. They're kind of having this sort of Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde moment where they want to give Foxy opportunities, but at the same time, Zest is probably overall a more impactful player. Like, you look, like, RB's not a bad Sova, RB's not a bad Fade or anything like that, but Zest is like so much better with his utility. Like, the number of like reveals he gets compared to like when RB's in playing that initiator role is night and day. And like, he's just got unbelievable game sense when it comes to the initiator utility. And he's not bad at all in terms of individual performance. Like, Zest has always performed well at international events. So I get, like, you know, like why you were saying this, Baller, like you want to see them stick with Foxy, and I thought they would. But as the year went on, Foxy was like regressing, like not progressing. And so I'm not sure exactly what the plan is for them, but definitely I think like they could fix it potentially, but I don't know if they'll get it in time for champs.
Cool. Just wanted to ask the fucking resident DRX fanboy before we cut you off.
Yeah, that was a good point.
Yeah. I am a huge DRX fanboy, it's true.
We ranted and raved last week. There was a lot of passionate, fiery discussion. All right. Awesome. Thank you for joining us, Paper Thin. We are going to take a short little break, and then we'll be back with another secret guest. Ooh, who's it going to be? Don't look at the thumbnail, and it'll be a surprise.
Incredible.
Three-minute break. See you.
Thank you, Paper Thin.
Thank you very much.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
I don't think he can hear us because I switched the gas. Sorry, Paper Thin, if you're watching this back.
Oh, you trolled him. He just thought we donor-walled him immediately.
We're just donor-walling him. Sorry, Paper Thin.
Oh, that's
we gotta wait for the Sliggy Stir. Where's Sliggy? Where's the Slug Club at?
Oh, it was a surprise.
It's not a surprise. I spoiled it.
Okay, I was looking earlier. I didn't get a chance to talk about this as much, but I want somebody to appreciate this as much as I do.
Okay.
I was looking at some old interviews of Scary because I felt like I remembered that he'd got some insane amount of salary from Bleed, but I wanted to see if there was a proper source for it. I didn't find the source particularly, but instead I found this quote from One Esports. He did an interview with Wanziko, and he said, "I can't be an athlete for the rest of my life. Being an athlete only spans a short period. It could be 2 years, 5 years, or 10 years, depending on the player. After many years have passed, they will either be a legend or simply forgotten. What matters to me is how much money I can earn as an athlete. The money I receive from joining Bleed is enough for my family and me to retire."
That is so
What
sick.
an insane quote. And that was in October, like when he first got signed as well. That's like not him feeling more comfortable about it half a year later. That's just his raw feeling.
Based thing I've ever heard.
And then he just won. He just took the bag to play in Tier 2 and then decided to win and play in Tier 1 anyway. Like, Scary's story is absurdly cool.
Did you see the Yay clip on Reddit today? That was
No?
He was just basically, somebody asked him about the 700 Thieves game, and he said, "This game is fucking incredible. Mostly for me, it's gonna be there's losers all around, but I'm gonna be winning. You know why? Because somebody's losing their job."
That's so true. Wow, that's actually the most based true statement ever.
Like, holy
yeah,
crap.
some CEO is getting horrendously pissed whichever team loses that. The anger levels are going to be off the charts. They should just have a meeting beforehand, like Rob Moore and fucking Nadeshot should just have a meeting beforehand and just agree that they won't get as angry. Whoever loses is just like, all right, okay, we could both get really angry today. Let's just even it out. Like, I'll feel half of your joy, you feel half of my pain.
Dude, I can't wait. I think Tarek is going to do coaching with Nadeshot again. We're going to get those moments where...
Oh, that's tragic. Does Ye co-stream? I would love to see a co-stream where he's just rooting for every Starduelist downfall.
That would be so funny.
He's
It's
just
like
preying on the downfall of Tens and Cryo.
it's so anti-Yay like persona, but it's just the most fucking awesome badass thing you said.
I'm not sure it is anti-Ye. Isn't he just
He's
like quite
supposed to be
smiley and quiet? But
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
still...
Like super wholesome. No. Super wholesome, smiley, quiet at the same time.
Is he wholesome though, or is he just smiley quiet?
Yeah, he's pretty wholesome. Maybe I think he's wholesome just because of smiley quiet, but yeah, I don't know. He's been just relatively positive in the past.
Yeah, he has been.
I think
mostly
DSG
positive.
did something to him. I'm not gonna lie. I think
He got infected
Cloud9,
by steel.
Cloud9 and DSG, like something that whole era has changed him.
God, I mean, we should definitely play this clip on the broadcast when we talk about the 100 Thieves Sentinels game.
You should just listen to it.
Yeah.
Oh shit!
I just went upstairs and took 5 shots. I'm ready to go.
That's perfect timing. Dude, my hot takes for the next 2 are so good.
I couldn't come up with a good hot take for Americas.
Really?
I mean, actually... I mean, I've got some that are just not appropriate for broadcasting.
Not appropriate for what do you
It's
do?
Sliggy
What-
here.
Hello?
Sliggy?
Oh,
Hello,
Slig.
hello.
Hello,
Hey,
hello.
what up?
Hey. Wait, we just revealed the secret guest.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
Oh, the big reveal's ruined. Dude,
Tragic.
3, 2, 1. Even though it's not really like the countdown with the regular start of the show, and we're back. And we've got another special guest. It is Sliggy of Sliggy TV. Welcome to
The first 24-hour Valorant channel. He's always live.
Yeah. I got the China rights now, so it is literally just 24 hours of possibility.
God. That is that is
Maybe one day.
madness. That is madness. All right. Are you guys ready to pod? Because goddamn it, I am. We're going back to Ascension. We're back in America. The Guard take it, which brings a tear to my eye. It's a beautiful sight. I mean, listen, I would have loved for the Guard to win and MA to win because both teams pretty sick. That would have been cool. But frankly, the Guard winning with 4 of their players having stuck together now for however long it's been, a year and a half or so at this point. They started right at the beginning of the year in 2022 with MCE as their coach. They've continued on. Only 1 roster change when Saya departed to T1 and they brought in Tex from NRG. And they've ran it all the way through this year, qualifying for the franchising league. Some may say that they should have been in there from the beginning. A lot of people thought that was going to be the case. Bala is some. He's pointing at himself. But God damn it, they made it regardless. They did it the hard way, and they succeeded, which is and was pretty incredible. And I'm just glad to see that the team isn't going to be picked apart after sticking together for so long. That really would have been sad to see, and it's going to be awesome to have these guys together next year. Josh, you're smirking, you're smiling. I don't want to start with you. I'm sick of you, but go.
Are they going to stick together? Are they going to... I mean, some of the big orgs are going to be looking to poach people, aren't they?
Dude,
Yeah, but
I mean,
dude, if they weren't going to stick together, surely they would have done it last year, and they would have just gone. Actually, do you know what? I'll skip the whole hard year of grind, and I'll go into a franchising team.
But weren't Guard looking to invest at the beginning of the year, and that's no longer the case towards the end of the year? The offers just might not even be comparable. No.
Maybe I just can't see them. I can't see them doing like going for the bag instead of staying together. I feel like it would have happened a year ago,
Well,
especially especially if you look at like Trent and stuff. I know he was offered some crazy stuff, and he was just like, "I'm just gonna do it the hard way. We want to stick together." So I don't see it changing, but maybe they change org. I've heard a lot of rumors about that stuff already. Who knows what's going on?
Yeah, and also like, I mean, if they start getting poached as well, it just makes it harder for like if people start entertaining offers and stuff, it makes it harder for the guard to make a case to stay. You know, for example, if they are thinking about it, and again, we're just fucking every single Reddit post and pundit is just completely saying, "Oh yeah, the guard might not stay, guys," but who knows what the hell they're actually thinking. Who knows whether Kroenke even knows he has an esports team still at this point. So
we should ask the guard from the guard.
Yeah, I think. Why? Can you go get him real quick?
Kroenke. I want to see what. You guys keep going. I want to see what Kroenke's up to. Oh, he's 75. Yeah, dude, he doesn't know he has an esports team. What is he even? What is he doing these days? So, all right, hold on. While I'm looking up stuff about Kroenke, I don't want to just sit here and speculate about. I don't want to just speculate about the guard actual organization though. I want to talk about the game. What do you? I don't see the problem.
Josh, I appreciate you getting me the clips, but what is going on with the HUD in this clip?
Oh, dude.
It was the production was broken the whole time.
Yeah,
it was the whole game. It was probably the worst production I've seen the whole year.
Like, yeah, I mean that's a good place to start. I think the production was awful for Americas. The tech pause was. Well, how long was that final tech pause towards the end? It was absurd.
40, 50 minutes.
Yeah, it was long. It was like an hour plus, I think, and the whole game was delayed by an hour and a half. Like the actual tech delays were probably the same as the whole best of 5. Like,
didn't the broadcast literally not start for an hour and a half late? Literally just on a break screen for the entire
hour and
time?
a half late. I think there's some kind of like either internet or like power down in like the neighborhood apparently where they were hosting. That's what I was getting told. So yeah, it was the worst broadcast. But even without that stuff, I will say like some of the observing and like everything, like obviously HUD was just going down the whole time. Like it was pretty bad to watch. It was kind of hard to watch, to be honest.
On top of that too, I just feel bad for the casters because they casted their hearts out. It was a great performance by Dust and Shift, but they're also delayed by like 1.5 seconds because of whatever they're doing here. And I've been in that situation before, and it's just ruinous because you think that you're putting on a great show, and then you watch it back, and you're like, "We sound stupid because we're responding to things like a second and a half after they happen." And it's not on the casters; they're not slow in the head. It's because there's a ping delay that makes everything you're saying come out like your mouth has lag. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And honestly, this is not like the first time we've had issues with HUD and stuff like that, but I think Riot needs to really think about how this is done, because right now how the HUD works is it literally is constantly relying on an internet connection back to the actual Riot server, like the not even just the game server that would be local to Brazil or whatever. Obviously they're playing on LAN, so it's local to their entire stage, but it has to go through the Riot LA servers to be able to actually get the information back, and that causes not only delay because there's ping involved in that, and that's part of the reason why we have like player cams reacting before the round ends and stuff like that. That's part of the reason why that happens, but it also breaks all the time because the whatever server they connect to sometimes goes down, and then also the internet connection sometimes goes down. And when it even breaks for a second, then all of a sudden you see what happens, where it gets desynced, the rounds start to not count, the stuff happens ahead of the video. Like all that sort of stuff is really frustrating and annoying to see, and it's consistently happening. And there's not really a good way to fix it other than having a reliable internet connection and just having everything work. So I really think that they just need to do what every other esport does, which is have a connection directly to the server, spitting out real-time API information so that we don't have any of these problems ever. And that's a solution that is definitely a thing. Everybody else does it. CS does it.
Yeah.
Rainbow Six does it. Everyone else does it.
It's pretty brutal when you're watching like a one-on-one and then literally just round win comes at the front before like the kills happens. You're just like, oh, okay, like the hugest spoiler, and then you don't actually get to see the kill because the round win comes up in the middle of the screen. Like, what the hell is going on?
It was
that
a
needs,
sick
that
game.
needs to just be at the bottom. That needs to be at the bottom. Yeah, dude,
Yeah.
take out the production. Actual game itself was great. Like, I'm well impressed with how good the guard is. Like, their actual improvement, map by map, especially if you just take like their old Haven to their new Haven. Like, I think they look so good.
Yeah,
Like, it's very impressive. I think, like, for me, Valen and just like the whole general calling and understanding of their own game itself. Like, I just think it's great. Like, this is one of the best Havens I've seen. Like, this whole protective, I call it protective VIP because you're protecting the Viper. You pretty much get into a site on attack. You have the Viper alive. You have a smoke down towards spawn. You have mollies. You can't retake. Like, literally, you just can't retake. You have to push down middle or you have to go heaven. And it's pretty much impossible.
From watching this game, though, I'm not convinced that the comp is better than running the Harbor, but I think that Valen's a lot better with the Omen. I think Valen on this map on Omen is spectacularly good. Like, his read on the game and how he gets value from it is really good. But I'm not convinced that everybody should start running the Omen instead of Harbor if you're going to be running that comp.
I agree with that. I think it's it looks like a comfort thing. Like, his calling and everything is perfect. When they need to fake or they want to get some map controller, he gets a bit of information. Like, every single call he makes on this is like perfect. He has a very good understanding of like the win conditions of the comp. And then, I mean, I was watching this and I was just like, damn, like, it was just every other round I was like, damn, this call is really, really good right now. And he was just manipulating the rotates and just kind of making M80 be a bit scared of just what they do. Like, this wall over towards short, where there's like a little gap where you can like opt from. The kind of M80 never really wanted to do that because they've been punched there before in previous games. And then they're just like, because you can't really retake, so you got to play over towards the site. So that means you're over rotating. And then there's no one on the site if like you fake it and then go back. Oh man, it was this whole Haven was like one of the best Havens I've watched.
It was a masterclass.
Yeah, it was so good.
And it was also super active from M80 too. Like, they were constantly trying to do a lot of things, and every single time you would instantly get some piece of information and the guard was just flooding on the other side of the map. And I also want to commend them for, like, I mean, they went on a streak like 8-0 or something like that. And something that they were doing a lot in this series and overall in the tournament was every time they would like go on one of those streaks and then they would lose a round, they would instantly hit them with like a super fast play, which I don't know whose idea that is, but it's a great way to just throw another wrench in some team that is starting to get a read on what you're doing. So yeah, mad props to Valen, mad props to Josh, and everybody else in this, because it feels like every single player knows exactly what they're doing when they make one of those calls too. So there's like, can't be any microing there happening because it's just instant from net. He's like, okay, I have to switch into this different flank position, or from whoever's leading the charge on the other side of the map. They were lurking, all of a sudden they're entering, and it's so nice to see. Yeah, the guard is, I mean, dude, when I watch this game, I think, 100% they could be contenders next year, depending on what happens with the roster.
What do you mean by contenders?
Contenders straight up. Like I think they could win Americas and go to a LAN.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, I think they could go to a LAN, yeah.
That's where I'm at. I think they can go to a LAN. I don't think they would win, but I think they can definitely get to a LAN, like a third, maybe a second.
Exactly, like an EG type of performance from these guys, and consistent.
Sure,
Like, I think these guys, in obviously there's only been 2 teams that have ascended so far, but for me, Bleed is not like, you know, a team that I'm like, holy shit, they're gonna do it immediately. For me, the guard is, they're gonna do this immediately right out the gates. Like, they have all the momentum.
Well, it helps that they've also been to international tournaments before off their own back, right?
Yeah,
they've made it. They've qualified to one of those previously. Not that they performed amazingly, but like, we've seen them literally win in North America prior to, you know, them not making it into the partnership system. So you already know that they've got the quality, even kind of before they pulled this off, right?
Yeah, I mean, we were already saying this kind of back to Ludwig Tarek, right? And just to think about that for a second, they have won both tournaments that they competed, both circuits that they competed in, which is also very impressive. Not that that was like that was a Mickey Mouse, but like still, like.
Yeah,
I mean,
still impressive.
What? 2 things though. First, on the guard, because we're talking about them playing in the partnership system. Do you think they could make upgrades to this roster, in a sense of like actually making the team better by changing the roster?
I wanted to talk about the player-by-player basis. Specifically with this, I want to ask you guys your thoughts on Tex, because I think up until this guard roster that he's on now, rather, what I'm trying to say is, I think this is the best he's ever looked by far. And when they picked him up, I didn't think, frankly, I don't think it wasn't like a remarkable pickup that they made. It just seemed quite adequate coming off of Saya. And also just where Tex was at in his career with NRG, where he had looked really good coming into joining NRG, and then on NRG, I think it took him a long time for his jet to kind of acclimate to the top level. And when he was the chamber for that team, he was just always a good chamber. He was one of the good chambers, but never a world beater. And that might have been one of the, I think, really actually the only area where looking at the guard earlier this year, I could have conceived of an upgrade. But at this point, I don't think there's any necessity to change anyone. What do you feel about that, though, Sliggy?
Yeah, I agree with that. I was pretty much going to say, like, you asked me that 3 months ago, I would have maybe said some of the players that I wasn't too sure about. But with Tex's performance here and Jonah P's performance as well, I was just blown away. I just feel like they all look incredible at their own role. Like, I'm watching some of Jonah P's utility as well. It's just outrageously good, and then he's just getting multi kills like all the time, just saving them in rounds, just getting so many impactful frags. Yeah, I was just so impressed. I love this team. Like, I love this team. I think it's yeah, I didn't know much about Tex to be fair before. He kind of joined and maybe watched like 3 best of 3s with him or something before, but he just looks so good, and he was like out. He was fragging really heavy, doing a lot of the just making space for the rest of his team. I just felt like he was fantastic this event. Honestly, him and Jonah P were just the 2 standouts for me. So, and that's maybe where my questions used to lie with this team in terms of like at least some of the impact that they were having. But this was, for me, it was their best tournament I've seen them play. I mean, so, yeah, I like it.
My God, Jonah P's utility is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, every piece that he throws, it's like he's been in, I don't know, like he's been in the, you can see the server time seeping through in the flashes that he throws or the recons that he throws or whatever it is, whatever the piece of utility is. It's either setting up a teammate, and that could be on the fly or some kind of set play. But it's the kind of stuff that only works if you've been together with the team for a long period of time and you've got all of the basic stuff down, and then you're adding more and more and more on top. You can really tell with a player like Jonah how valuable that extra time is that the team has had to be together. There's very little like just, you know how people just throw the like random pieces of util that are supposed to get some value but not optimal value because they're not exactly sure what the teammates are doing or they're not exactly sure of the situation. They're just like, okay, I need to use a piece of utility now. Yeah. This is a safe place to put it so that I can get some value out of it. I feel like when I watch the guard, they've got such specific high value plays that they make, and it's so good, man. I mean, I was specifically on their Pearl. I was really impressed with the combination of Jonah and Trent's util.
Yeah,
I think as well.
Sorry, you go.
The roles on this team. I mean, when you're trying to think of upgrades, I think about that a little bit. The roles actually just like they fit in almost every meta, but it's mostly because of Trent, right? Because he can play now Raze, adding to it. I know he played that a little bit throughout the regular season and whatnot, but the Raze, he's playing Viper and he's playing all the scan initiators. Like, it just allows you to do anything, to play in any meta. You can play in the double controller metas, you can play in Harbor Viper metas, you can play in a chamber meta, you can play in a double duelist meta. Like, you can do anything with this team, and so many teams are actually struggling with that very thing right now and throughout this entire season, like trying to come up with ways to play double controller and also have a sentinel in it as well, or in some instances, double duelist and still have everything that you need on the other sides as well. It's a difficult thing to do, and I think they already have it all baked into this roster. So when you think of an upgrade like that as well, you have to keep that as a factor. There's nobody that I would change on this team right now.
I mean, Trent's the best player in tier 2 as well, by a long shot. There are other names that are performing really well, but Trent is fabulous. I mean, I think he's easily the top of the pack. So when you have the best player in Ascension, and that's not just America's, but just across the world, that's really going to help.
Yeah, I want to talk about M80 for a second and just kind of give them their flowers before their potential untimely demise as a team, just based on they didn't qualify. and the vultures are circling to pick the bones of this extremely talented roster. But what was your takeaway watching M80 in this tournament, Sliggy? And I suppose what are your thoughts on potentially the team's future or the individuals on that team's future in Valorant?
Yeah, I mean, I was still impressed. This is the thing; they look good. Like if the guards didn't exist, they qualify. It just felt like the guards just looked. They were just a better team. But M80 still look good. The individuals, I think they took a long time to warm up. Especially if I'm looking at like EU when I was watching this actual LAN, he had very, very slow start. It wasn't just like what I expect from him, but actually in the final they started kind of dragging out to levels that I expect. Yeah, I mean, they just kind of just got outclassed in a lot of these. I think Xander was playing really, really well. Xander and Nismo for me were like the two big standouts. And then maybe I saw some of the other three just like maybe not to the potential that I normally would expect them in some of their other games. Yeah, I mean, in terms of who gets picked up, like either five of them could get picked up. They could either stay together, and I'm super confident they qualify next year, or I feel like any five of them would help certain teams if they need that role that they are. Like, I think that John's a really good IGL for like all the stuff that I'm seeing from them. I think he's a really good IGL. Koala's great at his role. Xander, like I said, is just insane. Like I just think the whole team could go anywhere if that slot opened up. Nismo's probably one of the best, probably the best KO, I think, at the moment. I'm looking at these flashes and I'm just like, damn, where have these flashes been for like the past 2 years since this guy's been out? Like his KO is incredible, and he can kind of flex over to the Raze as well. So yeah, I could see this whole team getting picked up individually, or if they wanted to, just grind it out for a year and just do a repeat of what the guard did, I guess. And
God,
just
that's kind of soul sucking though, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
Sucks. Imagine being one series off of making it into the partnership league and like having to deal with this awful schedule again, and just in general, like you're so close, but there's only one slot. That is crushing.
It's not just that as well. Like when I watched the match, I felt bad for M80 because they did a great job of winning here on Ascent. Koalanu popped off at the beginning. I think they had guard on the ropes. I think Valen looked a little shook in the first half until he really settled down and started playing a fantastic game later on in the series. But they hammered home their advantage early, played a like slow attack side that worked really well, and then I think they should have won on bind. I think they made some mistakes in the second half, but that first half very easily could have been a 9-3 or 10-2 even up for M80. It felt like they were completely in control, and it was only the guards' heroics that were even keeping them in the game at all. And then I really didn't like the way that the M80 were playing the A defense. I think that lost them so many rounds. The way that Xander and EU were just playing full A retake, like running away to heaven as soon as guard decided to pressure in on the site. But I felt bad because there's all the chances in the world that if they won bind, they could have won on split. I think it's entirely possible that they could have won this series 3-2 had, a small adjustment in game plan or a couple of moments gone their way. Maybe more than a couple of moments, but, a different day, I could see them winning this match.
Yeah, I felt like the cracks showed a little bit on Binds because it's like their ban for this tournament. And you could kind of see in some of it looked actually fine on attack. I was like, actually, they're looking pretty decent on attack. And then got to the defense, and they had some like good, like I take contact, you do this plays, but it was all very like Poggy-ish style and not too much depth behind it. You could tell kind of got into those like 3v3 situations or kind of like retakes or whatever. It just wasn't there. And like the practice on the map just wasn't showing. So yeah, for me, it was kind of lost with the Union game, right? The fact that guards map pool is crazy. They play all 7 maps. They look really good on every single map, and the fact that they had a double veto in terms of the maps was just a big thing here. So yeah, for me,
that wasn't really because of the Union game, though, right? That was because they lost in the upper semis to.
But maybe they would have skipped. They would. I mean, I guess they would have.
They would have had to play them at some point anyway.
They would have had to have played Fusion.
Like the upper finals or something.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Yeah, that is true.
I think the big issue for them in that game, and I agree, like basically whoever gets the double map veto is going to end up winning in a BO5 between these two teams. I think you saw that in the Americas Grand Finals as well, in my opinion. So, the previous time that they played, the guard ended up banning Lotus. They don't want to go towards Fracture. Not exactly sure why. The guard looked a little weak over there. So, but yeah, they end up losing 2 really close maps, and it sets them up for a bad pick in the grand finals. But it's just got to be gutting when such small things mean the difference between you making it or not. But that's the problem when there were 2 incredible teams coming out of North America.
Yeah, I'm going to try my
it's
hardest not to scream and throw a tantrum about the format again. But, you know, if the format was a little bit longer, maybe if this was later in the year and or, you know, there was already, you know, you could see the off-season tournaments on the horizon as an incentive to potentially continue together, have opportunities to play against some of the franchise teams, perhaps in secondary, you know, tournaments run by outside organizers. Hey, that might be nice, but all right, I'm not going to do that, guys. I'm not going to do it. But I do want to ask, given that the LCQ is obviously about to happen for all regions, where do you guys think the guard would place against the LCQ field? Do you think they could take it?
Yeah.
Grand finals is
It
where
would
I'd
be-
have them.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like top 3. I feel like
At
kind of get
least.
some coin flip games in there maybe. So yeah, I mean the fact that they have a 7 map pool and they look this good, yeah, you probably have them as favorites. Honestly, I think that's a big factor. All these other teams are still like rebuilding, and maybe not there. So the fact that they've been like a core for so long, I think that kind of helps them.
They also, there's a lot of partnership teams that were taking stuff from the guard all throughout the season. Like you saw the guard would do something in one of their matches, and I'm sure they were doing it mostly in the scrims against the partnership teams too. And then the partnership teams would be bringing it out. We saw that same Viper wall that they were running constantly, different setups that they were running all the time too. So, you know, it's not like these teams exist in a vacuum. They are constantly playing against each other, learning from each other. The guard, in every sense apart from the circuit that they're in, are already one of these top teams. I do have some other. I wanted to do right. Matt Morello, Mr. X, the legend himself. When we do the Overwatch show, the CEO of Plat Chat, has one of the most frustratingly annoying segments that he loves to do as a basketball fan, and I'm gonna bring it. I'm gonna bring it to the Valorant show, which is essentially. Who says no? Okay, so he proposes the stupidest trades in the world and then says who says no. So I want to hit you with this one, right? And mostly around M80, because if they do end up getting picked to pieces, I think there's a lot of teams in LCQ that would want those pieces, right? So 100 Thieves, Cryo for Koala Noob. Who says no?
No, Cryo's been too good. No.
You think Cryo's been too good? You think if
Yeah,
100 Thieves lose
I-
to Sentinels?
Yeah, I think Cryo's too good. I keep Cryo. If I'm in 100 Thieves, I keep Cryo. That's my main piece. I literally think that's my main piece. I keep that guy.
Really?
Yeah,
I feel like they
I think
really
it's great.
struggle to integrate him and get value out of him.
But I
on the
think that's
attack
on.
side.
But
I think
that's
that's
not
on
on
the
them,
team. Yeah, I think
Well,
that's on.
then
I
you have
think
to
that's on-
replace all the rest of the team. Wouldn't it be
But
better
then
if you had a slightly more aggressive, fearless player?
Give me another question then. but for that one, it's no.
Fair enough. 100 Thieves replace all the rest of their players. Who says no? Okay, all right. Let me throw another one at you. Karmine Corp, Nismo, and John Cutie with Happy or Effies as coach. Do the French fans say no?
Do the French.
I genuinely think that Karmine Corp should be looking at the French Canadian players, but also
holy
do the
shit.
French Canadian players want to go to
Right,
Europe
who
to
says
play
no?
for fucking Karmine Corp? That's the real problem.
But if
'Cause
Karmine Corp had like Scream Nivera, John Cutie, Nismo plus
GMD?
one, I mean plus or even keep one of their current players,
Keep
keep like
Shin,
Shin or something. Yeah. I mean that's a
strong
roster that
team.
can do damage.
It's a strong team.
That would be lit.
The thing is,
That's
though,
an insane roster.
Everybody says yes, bro.
That's probably your best take I've ever had, to be honest.
I'm deep in the Karmine Corp tunnels.
Yeah, I
I'm
like
finding all the
genuinely-
good takes.
I like
I
this one.
genuinely think that's what they need to do, but there's no dude. Nismo, I would be shocked if Nismo. I mean, he's an older guy compared to the field, and he has a
Right, going to
relationship
live in
and a
Bolivia.
kid, and like, dude, he's not gonna go to.
Doesn't he still own a
Karmine
restaurant?
Corp, and he has
He'd
a
have to sell the
He is
restaurant.
not going to Karmine Corp, but
He could make a new restaurant in Paris. He can own a Parisian restaurant. The opportunities are endless here, utterly endless. It is the peak. It is the fountain of culinary expertise within Europe. I mean, he could move there. He can choose either career path.
I do.
John
believe,
Cutie though is just a slam dunk. No?
Yes, I do believe in that. I mean, they need an IGL. I mean, I don't think he has children as far as I know. So just throw him a blank check and bring him on over. And I still think GMD is a reasonable option, to be honest, too. If he also has no children. We'll have to check the status on how many players have children right now. But it is doable. Do you have any more, Josh?
Yeah, this one's a bit bonkers. Okay, so I was trying to think about the teams that might bomb out of LCQ and where they would look for roster moves, right? So I was looking at that 100 Thieves Sentinels match, and I'm like, okay, if Sentinels bomb out, as Ye has said, and maybe we'll talk about later, jobs are going to be on the line. So I was thinking, okay, if they wanted to pick apart some of the other teams, okay, what about, do you think there's any world in which Xander returns to trying to IGL and wants to play Sentinel so that Pancada can go back to playing Smokes? Xander is such a phenomenal site anchor. I know that he mostly does it, around his own smoke utility, and it's very different there, as Pancada's kind of demonstrated with his move over from Smokes to Sentinel. But Xander's played a bunch of Cypher and Killjoy in the past. Not that I remember it at all. It was probably at the tier 2 level somewhere at some lost, forgotten VODs. But possibility?
I say
stretch. That's a stretch.
I say no.
You know what I think is, I'm not gonna say yes or no. I'm gonna offer a somewhat alternate proposition to you, Wilkinson.
Yeah.
I think if Sentinels lose this game, I would bet maybe $20, maybe $25.
That's a large bet.
Pancada will be going back to Loud, and then Xander can just play Smokes for them.
Ooh.
I mean, this is the reason.
Play Smokes,
Three Smokes players, Josh. That's what you're asking for right now.
Oh yeah, they do have Marv.
Well, no, I would have Marved on the bench at that point if you brought in Xander. I'd be looking for a different duelist.
You can go stream. So that is my alternate move.
Alternate prospect for Xander, right? Cloud9 Xander. That is a large upgrade over Jake. And if other teams aren't bidding for Xander, then doesn't that end up... I mean, if Xander... There's a couple of situations that would have to occur for this to make any sense. Xander would have to really want to play in partnerships rather than doing another year with M80. So even if M80 offered him a fairly decent option, he's more incentivized to go and do partnerships. I don't know whether that's true, but let's assume that that's the case. If other teams weren't looking for another top Smokes player, because there's quite a few hanging around, actually, good Smokes players, if Xander didn't have that many opportunities, Cloud9 might be able to get him on the cheaper compared to how valuable he is to the team. That would add like another vocal presence to the squad that, I mean, isn't lacking for them, to be honest. And Jake's been performing well, and I don't mean to say that he needs to be replaced, but Xander is quality. And I think that might take the roster even further up.
I'm down. This is good. This is you're thinking the right way. I think Jake is great, but yeah, I don't know. Xander is also great. I think this could be a good little swappy swap.
Okay.
I don't feel comfortable with the notion generally.
I mean, that's how I feel about all of these propositions. It's just like,
but this one specifically,
none of them excite
You're trying to get rid of. He's this polite collegiate player. He got a shot and he did a great job, and you already want to get rid of him. This was his first season.
They're just slimy.
It's a dog-eat-dog world out there.
No, it doesn't have to be. We can live in peace and harmony, Josh.
Dogs eating dogs.
You were advocating for disrespectful chaos, and I don't approve of this move at all. So no, no. You shouldn't be the coach of Karmine Corp. The Redditors were right. Fuck you. All right. I want to actually get into. I want to talk about the LCQ, which the Guard are not in, but maybe they would win it, but we'll talk about who we actually think is going to win it. We're doing the bold predictions again. They're all going to pop up. We all picked who's going to win it.
You're trolling, aren't you? You're trolling.
Kurt, do you want to just do it? What do we got? Oh my God!
Oh, 100 Thieves Leviathan!
Holy!
I mean, somehow I think Sliggy's is worse than mine. I don't.
They don't have to be bold. They don't. It's bold to name anybody that's going to win.
Bold predictions at the bottom.
It is bold.
Oh, I misread. I thought that was an A.
Dude, just picking the team that just we get. Ugh.
What do you mean again? I didn't do that for Pacific. Stop rewriting history to say that Secret were the best team out of all of those. They didn't go the furthest. They went 1 and 2 in playoffs. They didn't do shit.
Okay. You're getting into the semantics.
This is fair.
You're getting into the semantics. My point being, you picked Cloud9. They made it the furthest. They almost qualified. They were a hair away. They almost qualified against NRG in the playoffs. So they are the favorite on paper, even though you want to replace Jake. Josh, defend yourself.
I defend myself? What is there to defend? They're easily the odds-on favorites. They're massive favorites to win the tournament, surely. I mean, the world in which they don't win is that one of Sentinels or 100 Thieves has just fixed everything and goes on some blistering run, I think. I don't think the meta's shifted enough for one of the South American teams to go crazy, although I'd love to hear Sliggy's defense of Leviathan. I think Cloud9 looked great all season. Like you said, they almost made it to Tokyo anyway. Why wouldn't you be going for Cloud9 here? It's like it's the most slam dunk of all the regions.
I mean, yeah, I think they're probably favorites. In terms of where I'm at, though, okay, I'm looking at Lev. I'm looking at how they normally approach it and stuff. They're not good at the league. They're not good at the split. They're not good at multiple games after each other. All they have to do is win 2 best of 3s and 1 best of 5. That's really easy to do. That's more what they used to doing. If I look
easy.
It is like that's 3 games.
I mean,
that's
actually,
doable.
to be fair, you are the coach of the LCQ winners. I mean, that does make sense.
This is doable. You look at how they were playing last time. All of their mistakes are the easiest mistakes to make. You can fix everything within 1 hour. A lot of it is literally just, first of all, we need more strats. So someone go away and do that.
What, fix that in 1 hour?
if everyone takes a map, if everyone takes a map,
like 1 map.
I mean,
everyone takes
you've got
one
great
map.
work ethic, but there's no shot that they're doing that.
Right, but dude, you could just steal stuff these days. It's fine. Everyone takes 1 map. You're all done in an hour, so that's the strats covered. Then, honestly, you could take 2 weeks break with what I'm planning as well. But they're burnt out a little bit. So 2 weeks break, go on holiday, go see your family, come back, got 2 weeks. First hour, new strats every map. Then you need to fix just the like this whole thing where they're in a round that they can win and the money's close, and instead of going for like damage or going for the round, they decide to save and the other team goes into it. Just understand the economics. That's really easy. That's 5 minutes, right? So then we're up to an hour and 5 minutes, and then all we have to do is just get Mazzino out of his slump. That one might take a little bit longer, but I'm thinking that can happen. And then Taco is on Chamber because Chamber's back, and then they're back to their old original self. Two best of 3s, 1 best of 5, easy.
Why are our guests selling us on Chamber being back so heavily? I mean,
because it's back.
of all the things you said, oh god,
no.
How many maps are people playing Chamber, Sliggy? How many maps?
It's playable on Haven, Bind, Pearl, and then Fracture if you're feeling a little bit bold, and then maybe some other maps, but I think it's probably too much. But there's 3 good maps.
Lotus surely too.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
Lotus is a good one as well. That's 4 good maps. That's your best of 5 right there.
I'm rolling with this Lev thing a little bit, but my big thing with Lev is that there's 2. Okay, if for the past month and a half, if owner had the entire team waking up at 5 a.m. to take cold showers every morning and then they scrimmed for 10 hours, they're fucking cooked. They're done. If they took a 2-week vacation to Tahiti, they could do this. They needed a vacation. They needed a break. That is my stipulation. And that seals it for me. Now I'm going to defend my bullshit here. Okay? Allow me to defend myself. 2 things, all right? First, what I was going to roll with the same thing that Sliggy just said about Taco back on Chamber. I'm rolling with that with Cryo, okay? If Cryo goes back on Chamber, Farm City, bountiful harvest, okay? And 2, DDK just posted in Sliggy's chat that they have an assistant coach. So they actually have an assistant coach now. So Mike isn't alone on the island trying to clutch. He's not doing the 1v3 coach clutch in every game now. So those are my two potential critical factors. And I think if they do the chamber thing like Sliggy said about Taco, I think that opens up Asuna to be the entry guy. And Asuna's entrying was way better than Cryo's the entire season whenever he got the chance to do so. So I'm rolling with 100 Thieves.
Jet.
They're running it back. The haters are going to be fucking mauling, and everyone is going to forget about them being really mid the entire season because people only remember the thing that happened 20 seconds ago, and everyone is going to move on and forgive them. And then we're going to get a video on social media of Nadeshot and Courage JD jumping on a couch. That's what's going to happen, all right? That is what I'm rolling with. Any criticizers?
Yes. I mean, a dreadful take. I can't believe you're both super sold on the chamber returning. And then what is Asuna gonna? So is Asuna playing perma Raze in this, or is he rotating between Raze and Jet?
If you're playing chamber, you don't need Jet, Josh. First off,
it's proven. I mean, literally, Fnatic just want to land with Raze only. It's fine.
Right. So that's what you're going to be running. Raze only the whole time.
They're playing the maps where you can play Raze, or if he has to play Neon. But probably just Raze. Probably just put the man on Raze the whole goddamn time. That's what I want to see. I want to see Asuna on Raze, and I want to see Cryo on Chamber, and I want to see that work. That's really all I got, Josh. Josh, that's all I'm working with right now. All right, and the assistant coach, because if they can actually, not have Mike awake 14 hours a day with his brain having a meltdown because he has to do everything alone, that would also be, I'm gonna take a shot.
14 hours a day isn't an exceptionally long time to be awake. That's 10 hours of sleep every day.
Well, that's 14. No, that's 14. You're not counting the he spends time in the gym and he has to eat 3 meals. That's what you're not factoring in.
Okay.
So, but it's 14 hours of straight VODs after that. All right.
Right. So just to be clear.
Yep.
For me and Bala on one side of this discussion with Cloud9, we have evidence on our side. And what you two have is you both want your teams to go away, restructure the entirety of how they work in terms of their strats, their comps, their form, and then come back into LCQ looking like different teams. And that's why you've gone for them.
Yeah, I mean, they got a month. It takes an hour and 5 minutes. What are you going to do for the other days? They've got time. They've got time, I'm telling you. A month is a long time in this game.
I think America's LCQ is going to have the most difference between how the teams performed in the regular season and how the teams perform in this. I think Pacific's going to be a bit of a crapshoot. And I think EMEA, the teams are going to end up doing roughly what they've been doing all year. I think America's is going to be a...
So you have Cloud9 and you have that idea? I'm so confused there.
The other teams apart from Cloud9.
No, but actually genuinely, there's only 3 teams I would include in that. And no, 2 teams I would include in that because I don't believe in 100 Thieves at all. Sentinels and Leviathan. The rest of them are the bottom of the tier and also all playing with subs almost. So
Furia are not playing with subs, are they?
Fury is playing with the subs. QCK is out.
Yeah, QCK is out.
I forgot about that.
We were going to get into that in the pick'em. But yeah, QCK is out and Conan is in. So,
yeah, true.
And I don't know what the heck his Heat is doing, but he was out at the end of the season and Chosen was clutching for him. So, I mean, yeah. So
yeah, fair enough. Actually, troll take, because one of the teams that I was banking on was Furia too. Because I feel like we've seen the best and the worst from Furia. We've seen them look like the best team in the league and we've seen them look absolutely dreadful. So the rebound super possible for them. Who are they? They're playing with Conan instead of QCK, right? QCK also was not playing particularly well. I'm not convinced that he was all right, but he wasn't one of the big reasons they were winning.
He did post this
the
other day, so
maybe
he is playing.
Maybe he is playing now. I mean, that'd be cool. But yeah, let's do it. We've all given our winners. Let's get into the pick'em. Versus MIBR crew, and then after that, I'm surprised. I felt like someone was going to risk it on Sentinels, honestly. But all right, let's get into it. The first game is MIBR versus crew. They've got one shot. Whoever loses, pack your bags, buddy. Our crew going to win their first game?
Yeah.
A bold and passionate take, as always.
You know what? I agree. It's crazy, but yeah, I agree. I don't. MIBR was poo-poo, and I think the team is
MIBR beat 100 Thieves at the end of the season.
Who cares?
What do you mean? Who cares? Literally changed the entire course of Valorant history.
EG definitely
Who
cared, yeah.
cares?
But I mean, it was the.
It wasn't even a boomed 100 Thieves. They needed it to be able to make it through.
I know, but MIBR didn't have anything to play for. They were just like playing for fun, man. I don't know.
So now you think the pressure of losing to a winless crew is going to boom them?
No, I think they also just don't. Well, yeah, I also think they still don't care, and now it's a month of not caring, so it's just like GG.
Are they playing with heat? Do we know that? Is there any public information about that at all?
No,
Not sure.
I've heard
Cool.
rumors that it's going to be chosen. Now, I can't even tell you where I heard these rumors, but I
heard rumors that Heat is coming back, and they've solved like the fissure between Bazooka and him, and they've been working on it. But I don't know where I think that might have been an interview or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, so we have conflicting information and no sources.
I actually, we all know internally, but I don't know if it's public information, so we can't. I don't know if we can talk about it.
I haven't been told.
Yeah,
I asked in the meeting yesterday and didn't get told.
Yeah,
So don't tell the people, Kurt.
Yeah, but we know. I know.
Just say it's a rumor and then say.
It's a rumor.
Yeah, Kurt's heard a rumor from his bosses.
But you'll just have to tune in to find out.
Whoa. All right. Well, I'm going with crew. It's going to be their first win. They've been on the precipice of greatness. Or like the precipice of being all right. Either or, but
it's true though. Yeah, it's true. They've been close to wins. This is where they win.
Josh, are you serious?
Why are you so
Are
mad?
you serious right now?
Why do you care about this game, bro? Literally Pacific, you wiped off like 4 different series. You're like, I don't care about this one. This one, you care so much about. Why?
Because I want them to remain winless. Because I think that's a better narrative, is that they are Sisyphus. They get closer and closer to the victory and then get rolled over by the boulder on the way back down. I think.
Why is it not a good narrative to overcome 10 straight losses?
Because even if they overcome it, they're just going out the tournament anyway, so they're not accomplishing anything by winning. Yeah, what, you get your pity win over MIBR and then you go
What if
home
they go
anyway.
on a run?
We go on a run!
That was going to be...
The 0-9 team is gonna go on a run.
They've had a month and a half.
I think it's possible, Josh. Look at this. It's possible.
I'm afraid it's over
possible.
for crew. I'm afraid it's over. Pack it in. The other LATAM talent didn't even look particularly impressive, so there's going to be slim pickings in the offseason as well. Wrap it up. Put a bow on it. You've started your dynasty of being at the bottom of the barrel. You are the new Shanghai Dragons of America's League. You are going 0-42.
God, you are soulless, Josh. You want Jake out of Cloud9 immediately. You just want crew to fail horrifically. God.
I don't want them to fail. I just think they will.
You just said
and you
it would be a good
funny.
narrative if they fail exclusively.
Yes, it's an excellent story.
All right, we're moving on.
Terrible for the people involved. Heartbreaking. Awful. Tragic.
I'm going with crew. Ball, you're going with crew, right?
Crew as well.
And
yes.
Sliggy, you're going with crew.
Yeah.
All right. Thank the Lord. All right, let's spend 45 minutes on Send 100 Thieves now. You know where my heart and soul lies. It's with 100
But not
Thieves.
your head. But not your head. Notice what you excluded. Not your head. You said heart and soul, not your mind. Sentinel's going through.
Can we just pause for a moment? What are the Sentinels even going to be doing? I mean, roles, comps...
Same as they were.
Same as they
not
were.
same as they were.
Yeah, same as they were.
Really?
You can't fail that catastrophically with a roster this talented and then just run back the same as you were.
Fail catastrophically out of there. When Marv started playing, it's not catastrophic.
I mean, the entire thing has been catastrophic, but
Yes,
you're
of
right.
course.
After Marv came back in, it was only dreadful.
They won both of their series after the EG game.
They didn't have much time as well, to be fair.
Dude,
They beat up the bottom of the barrel teams and then managed to be able to scrape a win over an absolutely rinsed mentally Furia. It wasn't an impressive showing. I don't think that they should continue with that setup.
Cloud9 also barely scraped by Crew. Let me have you say this real quick because you fucking picked Cloud9 and you're still thinking like it's not.
That was the one game that they scraped by.
Okay.
Everything else they crushed.
I'm just saying you can't use this, the logic
But
against
you're picking
Sentinels.
the exception. I'm saying Sentinels in general sucked. You're saying, well, also specifically, this team once sucked.
No. You're using that evidence of them barely scraping by the bottom of the barrel teams, and then you're completely forgetting about like what type of form Crew was at the end of this season, and you're using that to discredit Sentinels and call their performance.
What form Crew were in at the end of the season?
I'm just saying, bro. They're
0-9. They're 0-9. You've done it to me. You fucking TikTok baiting shitlord. You've done it to me again. I came in and I was enjoying pottery.
Order in the pod.
Dude, before I came on this podcast, I swear I watched it and he said he was going to be positive today. So what happened to that?
He did say that at the beginning. He did say that at the beginning. All right. Order in the pod. Sliggy, who do you think will be winning this game?
This one's hard. This one is actually pretty hard to call. It's one of those ones where like it is straight up 50-50 because it's like off-season month who's been working the hardest and what kind of makes the most sense. I'm kind of just leaning with Sentinels just cause Scrimbox, really. I'm just hearing that they're doing good in prac, and like that's the only thing I've got to go off here.
Oh, he's fallen for the red herring again. The classic Scrimbox red herring.
Yeah, pretty much.
I just have this mental vision of Zekin and Ten's double duelist sending it in and Cryo on Chamber just snacking on him like a couple tasty morsels, getting one and just TPing out of there on defense. That's what I'm seeing in my vision right now. I think
go on. A lot of it comes down to like role. Like I hope they don't keep the same. Like Bala, are you saying Sentinels if they keep the same comps and stuff?
Not necessarily the same comps, but like the same what they've been doing, which is Marv's playing controller and lurking a shit ton and playing. He's going to be more integrated, obviously, at this point. He doesn't have to just constantly be by himself. But Pancata playing secondary controller and then Sentinel in some of those instances, and sometimes Zekin and Tens are double duelisting. Sometimes Zekin is playing initiator, right, with Saucy as well, being full-time initiator, and that's that instance. I think the roles kind of like at the end of the season, we were all like, yeah, finally it makes sense. Like finally it's what the team should have been doing. Well, not should have been doing. Obviously, we're not happy with Pancata playing smokes, but like in this instance with Marv on the roster, what else can you do? But in terms of comps, I don't really care what they go to. There's plenty of different options right now, and I think whatever they work on is going to be I have faith in Kaplan and to implement these ideas when they have a month of practice to work on it.
Yeah, I want to see him adopt like more of a, and I know this is madness as well, but I want to see him adopt a bit more of a like a paper rec style. I feel like they actually have the talent to kind of do that, create the chaos. I'm even fine for a Tens Reina. Like I think he's so individually skilled. If you actually play it right, I think that the meta's fine for it at the moment on certain maps. I would be fine for like more double duelist.
Oh damn, that feels like more of the same though, doesn't it?
I think that's crazy.
It depends on the maps. Like if it's just bind split, then I'm kind of in for it.
I would, if I had looked at this team at the beginning of the season and like you told me that, I'd be like, okay, yeah, sure, let's see it. But we already know how many like communications issues they've had between like Saucy and Tens and like trying to call for util and stuff like that. That's been something they talked about. What?
Dude, Josh is just disrespecting the cast right now, eating his little toast with pesto out of a bowl. just sitting there in bliss.
This is my pot. This is
Oh,
my
you-
pot. This
that's
is
what
my
you made?
happy pot.
Wow, that's
Yeah, I
pretty
made
good,
this
actually.
pot.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
that
made
is
this pot.
that is
Yeah.
a pretty
Like-
good job.
I mean, I've smeared pesto all inside of it now, so it doesn't look amazing. But yeah, it's like a nice little
nice
pot.
little
It's got like a
bowl.
rough glaze on it. It's like a cute little bowl. Cute little bowl.
Yeah, I like it. Well done, Josh. That
Thank you.
surpassed expectations. You've done a lovely job.
And now I feel a lot calmer.
That's that is a good thing. Yeah, the carbs will really slow you down. This is just such like a general like dude shut up statement, but it is gonna come down to both teams were in desperate need of a transformation in this offseason. And it's really just going to, they're going to have no idea what the other team has done in the offseason. And it's going to come down, I think, to just who made the most forward progress behind closed doors while we were watching Tokyo.
Yeah.
So it feels in that way so difficult to, I mean, God knows, to be honest. I'm just kind of rolling with 100 Thieves here. But if Sentinels win, I wouldn't be shocked.
I need footage of Cryo in the gym right now to understand whether or not he's going to pop off. Need it. It's not happening.
I think I'm on board with 100 Thieves if they're doing the chamber stuff like you called about. But I don't think they're going to do that. So that's why I'm thinking Sentinels. Like, I agree with if 100 Thieves adopted, like, the chamber on most of these maps, I think it's really good roles for them. Kind of get an Asuna just sending it in. But I'm not sure
You don't think they would? Why not? I feel like
I think they'll lean on it, but not as heavy as they should. I think they'll do like a map. Maybe
yeah.
they'll do like bind and play it safe.
Yeah,
Whereas
bind makes perfect sense.
I think you should commit heavy, like 5 maps.
So we got 2 for 100 Thieves. Balla?
No,
Of
I'm
course.
Sentinels.
Of course, Sliggy's for Sentinels. Wait,
yeah, 'cause
Josh,
I
you never
don't think
actually.
they're gonna do
You
it.
just argued against me. You didn't actually make a claim on this match.
Yeah. I think this match is impossible to predict because of what Wyatt said. It's actually it's got the most excitement around it with the least knowledge of what you're actually going to get from these two teams, because the winner is going to be whoever has reinvented themselves the most. The winner is going to be the one who plays the least like what they struggled with during the regular season. So you have it's an exciting match, but it's exciting and it's going to be interesting in hindsight rather than like having a lot of cool things to say about it on the lead up. I think Sentinels are going to be able to get it done. I think that Sentinels have players that have played more different types of styles to the point where they're going to be able to work through more ideas and figure out what's working during this longer period of time compared to 100 Thieves, who I think have a system of they have like 2 things that they've done and they can't revert back to what was, well, I suppose they could kind of revert back to what was working for them a lot previously with running a ton of the chamber stuff. But I don't think they have, I haven't seen 100 Thieves with the breadth of ideas since, like, I don't know, Red Bull or something, and that was still in the chamber meta. It was just the small ideas that they were bringing. So of the 2 teams, in terms of reinventing themselves, I would lean more on the experienced players within Sentinels.
I got a little heartless way of looking at this. Maybe the EA perspective. All the players on Sentinels, all like they're chilling. No matter what happens, they get dropped from this team. They're all chilling. Like no matter what. Saucy and Pancada, they're going back to Brazil. They'll play for Loud, whatever. They'll go play for Fury. I don't know. Who cares? They're chilling. Zekin's chilling. The 10s, it's 10s. You know, everybody's vibing on this team. 100 Thieves, not so much. Not so much. This is a team of people who I can't see where else they'll go other than this team. It's a team that fits the most with them. It's a team that they all started with and they brought probably to the position that they're in. And it was more of a sum of all parts than anything else last year and even this year. So much more pressure from that perspective on 100 Thieves, which hurts.
Nadeshot is going to go absolutely volcanic if they lose this game. I mean, if he does a co-stream with Tarek in the arena, this is
incredible.
I don't want to cast. I just want to point the microphone at them.
Yeah, it would actually be incredible. I'll probably watch by that, to be honest.
All right.
I mean, yeah.
I'm looking for a final verdict here. So I've gone 100 Thieves. Sliggy,
It's
who are you
three
locking in?
Sentinels.
Yeah,
to 100.
I'm going Sentinels. Balder's point was pretty logical. I liked it.
Ballo's Sentinels and Josh Sentinels. It's all right. I can accept it. Furia versus Crew. My hot take
Crew.
for this tournament is that Crew are going to go on a run.
Oh, you get.
I've got Crew.
Not the pot.
Not the
Don't
pot.
break the
not
pot.
pot.
Don't break the pot.
Dude, what do you have some smelling salts in there? I am going with Crew to beat Furia. I don't trust Furia's form. They left the season off at a low note. Crew were in the best form we'd seen them in all season at the end.
What?
And
At the
what?
end?
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of were, but they still didn't get the wins.
yeah, but it's Cloud.
The thing is, though, it's not even that bonkers of a take if Furia are playing with a sub, right? So that's so annoying that it has some semblance of reality to it.
So to be clear, the hot take is that they'll go on a run by beating Furia, and then after that, what? What's the hot? How far are they going?
Yeah, well,
here?
we haven't got to the Leviathan game yet. Wait and see.
My hot
Wait
take is
and
about
see
the
how crazy
Leviathan
it
games too. What the fuck is going on here?
Well, I've gone.
Well, no,
Crew.
I mean,
Bolo, what's your feel
I'm going
on
with
this one?
Furia.
Okay.
I've been Furia pilled the entire season, so yeah, I'm going with Furia.
Yep, that's fine. It's reasonable. Yep, it's cool.
Furia
Sliggy.
gave me the funny happy pill at the beginning of the season, and then the effects wore off very quickly.
I love how you threw a big thing about the game before in terms of Crew winning, and now you're contemplating them being Furia. It's kind of sick. I'm gonna say Furia then. So if you want to pick Crew, you can. But I actually think Furia should win this. Like, if that tweet's anything to go by, and he's actually going to America as well with the full lineup, they should be winning this.
I think they should be able to win this even with Conan in. Really,
He's a good player. Like he's
It's-
actually good. Yeah.
I think that one of the biggest issues that doesn't get talked about enough, probably on the English side of things, because we don't have the language skills, most of us, to be able to communicate with the players well, is how booming it is to spend that long in LA. Man, fuck LA. All my homies hate LA. It's expensive. It's shit to get around. You feel trapped if you don't have a car, which, bro, none of these guys that have flown in from Brazil or Argentina or Chile or whatever have bought a fucking car to zip around and get out to Malibu or whatever. They're not going and enjoying themselves in the day to day. What is this? Wow.
Why Los Angeles
This was only 20 days ago.
is the
20 days ago.
poisonous cloud that hangs over the head of the LCS and the case for moving the league to Gary, Indiana. That's what Kurt has pulled up for the audio listeners at home. And those of you playing DM and listening to this right now. Yeah, that is the realest take I've ever seen, actually, in my life.
so
Los
good.
Angeles,
Los Angeles is a
that-
city that drowns in its own aura of the unique combination of hedonism, sloth, and social media-driven neo-performative Marquetta capitalism. This culture exists primarily and is disseminated from this area of Southern California. In fact, it's so well spread through media and pop culture that many think this is the American culture. False. I mean, this is the realest shit I've ever read in my entire life. No, but genuinely, Josh, you raise a really good point.
Did you see the next paragraph? Dude, it just got crazier from there.
Wait, what is it? Most blue-blooded, God-fearing Americans such as myself are hardworking, unboastful, nose to the grindstone types. We work for what we own and are proud of it, but don't need to post about it on Instagram 20 times a day alongside a photo of our 15th Nobu sushi dinner this month. God damn.
LA sucks. Also, Josh, we were saying is the realest point of all time, though. When I'm looking at this bracket, especially, I feel so bad for MIBR and crew. These guys are playing 1 BO3. They've waited in a foreign country for a month and a half to play one game, and then they might be going home. That sucks.
Yeah. And also,
feels
it's not
awful.
even that. The last 3 weeks of the regular season, too, they all were literally, I could see them type in the caster before the games went live. They're like, "This game is useless. We're playing a clown game." So they don't. I'm telling you, they don't care anymore. They don't care. They're waiting for next year, waiting for whatever changes are going to happen to their roster, and they can get motivated again.
I kind of like this format. I don't know if that's. I didn't realize it was a hot take. I like this format. It means that the split has more weight behind it. You not?
Yeah, I kind of like this format too. I don't mind it at all.
I like it to that degree. I just the issue is just on the teams that are so far away from home for so long. And, and I mean that's it's going to be the same in other in the other regions too. You heard Fnatic talk about the fact that they took a break right before the grand finals of EMEA because they were so ruined by living in Berlin for that long. So it's just the same thing is happening across the board. But I think
except for the people living in Seoul, because Seoul's awesome.
Yeah,
they're the same way. They're literally the same way. I mean, they're living from.
Yeah, I'm sure they are the same.
It's all exactly the same, and it is a flaw in the system. But then again, it's like eventually the people who can't handle it are gonna, not participate in it, and we're gonna get the people who want that sort of life, and that's how sports and esports is gonna work.
Yeah.
If you're an athlete, you travel the world. It's just simply put, you're going to be not with your family for.
I love traveling the world, going to LA, then LA, then LA, then LA. It's really cool having the split in LA, LCQ in LA, champs in LA. I love flying to LA.
Surely, surely we're going to have LCQ somewhere else, and it's not always going to be.
We'll hold
this.
it in Anaheim. We'll just go around different places dotted around LA, just somewhere that's awkward to get to, but you still flying to LAX.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, this is just a total side note that has nothing to do with nothing, but Kroenke is investing $650 million this year in various facilities, spending on Arsenal, spending on opening a new Rams facility, and buying a massive space of land in of course, Los Angeles. So if he can't keep the guard, dude, come on. That's crazy. Just keep the guard. Okay, also back to the bracket. So where were we at again? Furia. Crew. All right, so Furia are making it through. We get it. When Crew win, you can all come crying to me on episode 140. Cloud9 versus Sentinels. I'm going with Sen.
The thing is, there's no way to know coming out. Sentinels 100 Thieves might just be a clown fiesta if neither of the teams have.
It will be.
I think one of the teams, Sentinels 100 Thieves is going to be very one-sided. One of the teams is going to fix their shit, the other is not. And I think one team is going to get slapped in that game. And I think the upper semi is going to be the banger here. The Cloud9,
I really think this bracket is just going to be rife with upsets. Because so many of the teams towards the end of the season were slipping, and other teams are just going to be using this month and a half to massively restructure. I think it's going to be utter chaos.
So you think Cloud9 was slipping towards the end of the season?
No, I think if Sentinels make it through versus 100 Thieves, they've got a real shot at beating Cloud9. And, even though Cloud9, maybe that playoff run got the experience for the players they needed, they did... They were not playing up to their regular season selves in the playoffs. Yeah. I think with the pressure on again, I think it's very reasonable that they will again not be at their regular season standard. And if Sentinels, much to what you were saying, Paula, don't have the pressure because all the players know they're going to be fine. If they come in and beat 100 Thieves, I could see them continuing to fire on all cylinders, have way less pressure on their shoulders than C9, and at the end of the day, if Zekin and Tens are playing this double duelist type style, which they've had massive success with, you're telling me they can't take over a game against Cloud9 if they're playing with even a modicum of fear? I think it's super possible. I really think this bracket is going to be crazy.
I'm kind of on board with it being crazy. It's one of those things where this is crazy hard to predict. I would probably lean towards Cloud9. So in my mind, it's a 50-50. But if I've got to think about it, like just the firepower of Cloud9 and just having a month off with Cupid and MCE and the coaching stuff, and with how much they like to bring in new stuff, I would probably say that I would give Cloud9 the edge here. But I can easily see this being either way. It's just so hard to call with so much time off.
Yeah, I think that the time off is gonna. If Sentinels win the first game and they've already redeveloped a lot of their stuff, they're certainly going to be in a good spot and could win this. But I think Cloud9 are going to be a team that brings like new stuff. People were stealing from Cloud9, maybe more than any of the other teams actually at throughout Americas. I suppose Loud probably do, but Cloud9 brought a lot of really cool ideas and are very good at being able to quickly come up with ways of beating other teams. They're going to have seen Sentinels in the match before. I think Leaf's going to have good ideas about what their game plan should be heading in. I would still favor Cloud9 here. But I do think it's going to be a banger. I think it's going to be better than the Sentinels 100 Thieves game.
I think it'll be better. No, I don't think it's going to be better than the Sentinels 100 Thieves game. I think it'll be better, like, I don't know, better than you expect. Because to me, I think everybody should be expecting Cloud9 to fucking roll Sentinels. And I don't know where this 50-50 shit is coming from everybody. But, and if they don't, then it's because, you know, something is not working on the back end and they're not happy with how they're working with MC and Qpert and stuff like that. Because all of that stuff, all the proof is that they're fucking godlike when they have time and when they have experience and just are running on everything. Like, these guys are so good. And with watching the game, with the form that they had and they can achieve, when you're talking about like peaks, Cloud9 was peaking at best team in Americas, peaking at possibly contending with like Fnatic at lock-in, like that level of form. Maybe not the Fnatic we saw at Tokyo, but absolutely was starting to be in that conversation. I think if Cloud9 lose to Sentinels, no matter how good Sentinels have gotten, I mean, I don't know. I think that's crazy. I don't think that's even a possibility in my mind.
Really? Okay. Well, lock it in, champ. Let's go.
Woo!
Lev Furia, I mean, Sliggy, we know where you stand, right?
Yeah, you know where I'm at.
All right, hot take alert, which isn't that hot because there's actually only 4 matches, but this is my weakest hot take. Leviathan are not going to drop a map except against Cloud9, and they'll be in the grand finals again and still lose to Cloud9, but they're not going to drop a map against anybody else.
So you've got them winning 2-0, losing to Cloud9, winning the lower bracket against whoever's in there.
Yep.
Cleanly as well.
Yep.
So you just have them winning 2 matches cleanly.
Yeah, which is sad.
Sounds good when you phrase it like that.
And if you want to take a bet, you have to, if that happens, you have to tweet apologies at owner and F10 Fernando Diaz.
It's too weak. It's too weak.
Fuck. I tried. The next one. I'll get you on the next one. Anybody? Y'all were hating like crazy on Leviathan. Like crazy. Oh, they never do anything different. And everything you say is like kind of true, but at the same time, they're just a good team. They're still solid no matter what. They played pretty good throughout the regular season, and yet everybody still shits on them because they have a couple of upset losses. And that's sad. And
it's not upset losses, man. It's that they don't understand some core aspects. It's like the DRX issue. They just have an idea of how to play the game that is fundamentally misaligned with what's going to get you results across
across the season, across the whole
across the season. Yeah.
Not a tournament.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think Sliggy's point is correct. Like, they do better in tournament settings, and they're probably going to come in with some good ideas because they usually do after some time off. But I also think that they are not going to be able to win big matches. I think they're going to be able to beat Furia, though. Yeah, I think that they've got what it takes to be able to do that.
Look it in.
I'm going to go with Lev on this one. Hopefully they took a break and rejuvenated, and some of their players who were struggling towards the end of the season just don't do that. So, rolling with Lev. And then, I mean, where let's start with the lower round one. Sentinels. I'm just struggling. If Furia have a sub, and also just where they left off at the end of the season, they were so hot at the beginning when Khalil was in crazy form. Towards the end of the season, it was just Dijazine and a dream. I'm just going with Sen here.
That's such a good slogan.
Yeah,
I agree with you.
Yeah, back in.
Same.
And then Cloud9 Lev. I mean C9 at this point.
Oh.
Right, Balla.
I mean, I'm saying Lev win this, but
Josh.
Cloud9. I'm so high on Cloud9.
I don't see it. I don't see Leviathan winning the game. I think Cloud9 are going to be able to get that one.
And even if they bring out new stuff or whatever, Cloud9, remember, I think Cloud9 was the first team that just like ripped Leviathan to shreds. They just fucking destroyed them in the regular season. And that was mainly because, all the stuff had been seen already and whatever, and they're able to just force their hand. But that to me puts in their minds that they're going to get ripped to shreds again, and no matter what, like Cloud9 have them. They got it.
And then
but this is where I disagree with both Bala and Sliggy. I think Sentinels are going to be able to win the final. I don't think Leviathan win that one. I mean, if Sentinels have already pulled out the form to the point where they're going to be able to beat the upper quarters, like if Sentinels get to this point, they're getting to the grand finals, I think.
Well, I'm trying to remember the regular season.
That's
game.
a tough one. I'm going with Lev.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, I like this.
I think I go with Lev too. I think they're too solid. And I mean, obviously, I already think that they're not going to lose the map, but
and then in the
they're
final,
way too solid.
I can't believe we've got Leviathan in the grand finals.
I mean, to be fair, they start in the upper semi. They only need to win 2 games.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
If they do decently enough in this offseason with rejuvenating the players, getting the energy back, and just having a couple good maps, that could be enough. I mean, it's really not that much they need to do to get there.
If you go back through Leviathan's match history to the point at which they have 2 Ws on the board, they unfortunately also have 6 losses by the time you get to that point. So winning 2 games has not come particularly easy to them within the last, many weeks. Just win 2 is not
your point.
Simple. My point being that you're saying it like they just have to win 2 games. They only need to win 2 BO3s and a BO5 to win the entire tournament. Simple stuff.
To be fair, hey, actually, counterpoint, that's actually what they're really good at, is winning 2 games at tournaments. Fucking Champions 2022, won 2 games, made it out of groups. Fucking Lock-In, won 2 games, made it to top 8. That's all they do.
All right. Let's move on over to...
we're locking it in.
What? Oh, I'm rolling with that. Let's move on over to EMEA. Same thing. Bold predictions. Are we about to all show the same 2 teams in boring fashion?
Probably.
It's possible. Let's do the reveal. And also keep in mind it's 2 teams. Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, Ball is trolling. So in expected fashion, myself, Sliggy, and Josh have all gone with Navi and Giants. Balla has gone with Navi and Karmine Corp because he wants engagement. So Balla, defend yourself.
Hot take. Here we go. Karmine Corp is not only going to make it to Champions, but they're going to win LCQ because Scream and Navera have never lost an LCQ. Part of that's because Sliggy. Part of that is because they're gods at LCQs. Okay, they've won both the EMEA LCQs. So it's not going to happen. It's going to be 3 in a row for them. And as a little stake here, if this happens, if this comes true, anytime you guys are doing a watch party or on a cast of a Karmine Corp game at Champions, you must face paint yourself with a French flag. And in addition, Josh, you must make a new video titled Karmine Corp is not trolling, fully dressed in a clown outfit and with the French flag painted on your face. Take it.
I mean,
You got to repeat that again.
What does Josh give?
There was a lot involved in that.
I mean, what happens if you're wrong though, Ball?
I mean,
Bro, if he's wrong, he's just wrong. I mean, there's such a high likelihood of that occurring. Explain to me the stakes again.
Okay. You have to, every time you go to cast or watch party or on the desk for a Karmine Corp game, you have to face paint yourself in a French flag. And then your secondary one, because you're Josh, you have to make a video titled Karmine Corp is not trolling. And you have to break down their games from LCQ, a bunch of examples of the awesome stuff that they're doing, and you have to do it in the same garb, but also in addition with a clown outfit.
I have to buy a clown. Oh my god!
Again, no
if
upside.
They win
no
LCQ,
upside.
if they
There's
win
no
LCQ,
upside.
if they win LCQ, I will do that. If they make champions, you're not getting all of that.
That's fine.
You're not getting all of that.
That's fine.
But also, it's just not occurring.
Josh, we're
What
not
were they
spending
up to
time.
at the end of
Josh,
the season?
I refuse to allow you to even respond to this.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's a good point.
genuinely, it's illegal on the podcast to respond to this level of outright trollery. Let's do the pick'em, which I think is going to take all of 10 seconds because Fnatic have gotten EMEA 2 slots, and
Well, Shirley has to agree or disagree.
what?
He has to accept the terms or not, at the very least. He doesn't have to respond.
Josh is pondering for the audio listeners.
It's a
I
pretty
am
good
going to
bet.
dig myself into the worst hole possible here. I need to extract myself.
Do you want
I
me
need
to throw you some rope here? Do you want me to throw you some insight? Okay, streets are talking. I think you should take this. I think you should take this. The streets are talking. I don't want to be the person that breaks this. This is a rumor. I've heard this guy is eye gelling again.
No.
Plat chat exclusive. Plat chat exclusive.
That's what I've heard. So I don't know if that changes the stakes or anything, but I think it's on the table. If I was you should accept it.
You know, this has just reminded me. I got sent an anonymous French fan, like outing the team, sent me this because they'd been watching the streams of Karmine Corp's coach, who was giving insight about the team and how it was built. It was in French, obviously, so it's not something that I would have had access to otherwise. And there were some bizarre takeaways from the stream, including the fact that, essentially the idea being that it seems like Scream just got given the keys to the castle entirely. PM didn't even realize that Scream wanted to play no duelist comps when he signed to the team. He didn't build the roster, was just consulted on it, basically. And they didn't even consider, according to PM on stream, they didn't consider Enzo because Scream came specifically to IGL. There's no need for two IGLs with different visions of the game. So like, you know, I'm not sure how much of that is true or how much of that is just hindsight, them like rationalizing what occurred within the squad, but it does not fill me full of confidence that they are allegedly returning to the Scream IGL, especially after he tweeted afterwards. Like when Zeish came in to be the assistant coach, he tweeted like, what was the tweet? It was something like, thanks, now I'll only be able to focus on my crosshair. Like, now I can really game bicep emoji or some shit like that.
Lion emoji.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, well.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take whatever you're giving then. Sliggy's got me. I'm taking it all.
Taken. I mean, it seems pretty reasonable, even though there's still no upside. All right, let's do the pick'em. I mean, Ball offering no upside at all, but let's do the pick'em. So we're starting off with Heretics and Koi. I don't even know how to
fifth,
intro this game. Like,
we don't know Heretics fifth, but the rumor is Gen.G fishy. Again, another rumor.
Fishy.
Rumor.
Really?
Fishy. He's gonna pop off. Farmed his league in
that makes me
BCL.
want to go with Heretics just because that's cool. But I also just have neither team just excites me. Heretics because Gen.G fishy. We got 3 for that, or
Honestly, I think the fact that they get a sub here is kind of bullshit in the first place, because there's no emergency for Heretics. I mean, come on. If there was an emergency for them, then Karmine Corp would have had an emergency the entire season long. So It's kind of bullshit that they get that opportunity to pick somebody up just by dropping Zeke. So yeah, I kind of want to go against them, but then again, if Benji Fishy is joining the team, we don't know that.
Yeah,
We
that's
don't know.
how I
It's a
feel too.
rumor. My take on it is Koi can't consistently look this shit, so Koi would win this. Like, look at their team.
Good take.
Like
Josh?
their team is so good, they're better than this.
I think both of these teams are in absolute. Why did Heretics even get that situation? By the way,
From what I heard, it was like Zeke. They said to, and Bala, maybe you know more than me, but they said that Zeke had like back issues, and that's why they had to trade him out. I think something.
Yeah,
like that. I don't know
that's
if you know more.
that's the theory. That's kind of what's been in the public sphere. That's kind of what somebody said on, I think, the LVP podcast. They said that, and on both sides, they've literally countered it. So I have no clue. That's what they did, and then somebody from Heretics said, "No, we didn't do that. Riot just gave us the exception."
it doesn't make any sense. Like, they shouldn't
doesn't
have
make
an
any sense.
exception. It's even less. It makes even less sense than Karmine Corp.
Correct.
Like, if they were going to have an exception, then Karmine Corp should, because presumably New Zero was like a retirement clause or something, rather than being removed from the team by the management.
Correct.
Anyway, I begrudgingly, Koi, I suppose.
So we're flipping a coin.
No, Koi.
Oh, you went with Koi Ball?
Yeah, I mean, I
switch-
don't know if Benji Fish is on the team. I just like.
All right,
What, you want me to go-
BBLK Corp. Let's not. I literally can't. We're spending 10 seconds here, which is me saying
Go
BBL.
ahead.
Sliggy say BBL.
Whoa. I don't know about that one. You said 10 minutes, right? Because I'm
Take me
thinking
out 10
Take
seconds.
this.
Take me out.
You just get rid of one of their good maps. You just get rid of Ascent. They're gonna ban Ascent, right? K-Corp.
K-Corp
of course.
always troll them at
course.
vetoes.
They do always, Jordan. That's why I'm kind of like, sure, K-Corp will ban Ascent and they'll win.
Weren't BBL doing all right towards the end of the season on other maps, not just
Haven.
Ascent? Like,
Haven was really good.
right. I'm in it for the Karmine Corp arc. I'm in it for the arc.
Bro, and Nivea and Screaming Nivea is still like they're still legit.
I mean, actually, Karmine Corp did beat BBL.
Yes,
Even
That
though
was
it
at
was
the
like
very
the
beginning
first
of the
It was the
season, yeah.
first, yeah.
They were throwing Gecko post plant lineups on Xbox.
And Split.
Yeah.
But still,
Oh, yeah,
they
and
beat
Split,
him.
yeah.
They beat him.
No,
beat
but
him.
I'm still going with BBL. Josh?
No, I'm going for Karmine Corp. I'm KC pilled.
Hey, Corp.
Yeah, it won't last long. It won't.
Corp.
I'm not getting the run all the way to the finals, but yeah. Throw them in.
No to you guys. And then, all right, can we
I
just...
think either
yeah.
of those opening two matches though can
That's
go
fine.
either way. I'm not strong about either. Of
Yeah,
them.
I agree.
These semifinals, I completely agree with this.
Yeah, I mean, that's just... I
Yeah.
mean,
These are
again, it's just...
one-sided, I
There's
think.
no... It's so one-sided in the semis, which, for audio people, that's Navi beating Koi and Giants beating Karmine Corp. Yeah, of course. And then in the low round
Also,
one...
oh my god, that would set up the world's greatest rematch. Karmine Corp, Koi. Holy shit. I want to see that again. Karmine Corp win. Wait a second. I'm persuading myself. What the hell is happening here?
This is why this came about, man. This fucking bracket just works, man.
Someone
It just works.
take me out.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know, dude. I'm on the same train where it's like if before I heard the rumors, I would say K-Corp all day. But when I'm looking at the Scream IGL in terms of how readable they are, in my mind it's very one-dimensional. I think Koi should take this. If that BBL game goes to like 3 maps or something, you have 3 bits of
See,
footage.
the thing that you're missing in the like rumor mongering is that you're only getting one piece of the rumor. Scream is only IGLing for rounds 1 to 6, and then it swaps to Zage. So it's actually
Okay, that's
completely
true, yeah.
unreadable.
Genius.
To take turning maps.
Yep. And one's defense
I'm
side
gonna begin
sometimes, the other's the
weeping.
attack side. K-Corp. Yeah,
Okay,
K-Corp,
I
K-Corp,
go for
K-Corp.
Koi here, but
Fuck.
Yeah, I'm going K-Corp here.
So we're flipping a coin.
Yes.
why are you going Koi?
I'm going Koi.
I
He's
respect.
been voting
okay.
against Karmine Corp the
He
entire
hates
time.
Karmine.
I mean,
Corp.
yeah,
He's
because,
the new
hey,
Josh.
guys, they suck ass. Anyone else remember that? Am I the only one who remembers
Wyatt,
that?
You forget you're watching EMEA
So did
and
Corey.
everybody sucks ass, bro.
Yeah, Koi
They
do
get-
too, but they have way better play. Oh, God.
If
do they?
Nivera gets Chamber, it's done. To be fair, so maybe I'm changing.
Heads K
Maybe
Corp.
I've just thought of that. Maybe
What about
wait,
XMS Chamber? XMS's Chamber was very legit as well.
I
Are
mean,
we
you'd be
flipping?
mad- You'd be mad to
Heads
put
is
him on
K
it
Corp.
instead of
Let's
Nivera.
do it.
Okay, yeah, I'll flip it.
Flip it again. Flip it again.
Flip it
Best of three.
All
Best
right.
of three.
Best
Best
of
of
three.
three.
Best of three.
That was
Best
a
of three.
tails.
Best of three.
That was a tails. It's a heads.
Best of three.
All right.
Let's go.
It comes down
Best
to
of three.
this.
Flip it again.
Come on.
Oh, take it. That's what I like to see.
Yeah.
No,
God
honestly,
damn it.
Josh, you almost convinced me at the end with the XMS chamber thing, but I'm not going back on this. Trex is going to
It's
step
so-
on
XMS on
the
Chamber over Nivera.
platform boots.
Well, but I think you get
over.
more improvement from XMS being on Chamber compared. Like I think Nivera is going to be like fairly good no matter what he plays. I think XMS.
You still want the Omen up
difference.
is what you're asking for, though. Like
I want the double op Omen Chamber.
Omen Chamber.
Bring
That's
it
how they're
back.
going to win LCQ this time. Bring back
down.
the double op
I'm down.
winning LCQ strat.
yeah.
All right. Upper final, Navi versus
Navi.
Giants.
Navi.
Navi.
I
Dude,
have,
that
I have
fixes it
nothing
so
to add
easy.
anymore. It's just now that K Corp's out of the bracket, Navi's just winning everything.
Yeah,
'Cause-
now,
I
now
mean-
it's nice and easy.
They have Shao, they have Sugetsu, they're winning everything. And then Giants
Yep.
versus
As long as
Koi in
it-
the lower final. Again, Giants, and
Well,
Giants.
I mean, to be fair, Giants
out to
were
Fnatic.
kind of pooping themselves at the end of the season by like randomly trying to like pick up the America's meta, like playing a bunch of Harbor Viper and stuff, like letting in Pearl. They just were not understanding that shift properly, and they kind of lost games because of that. Remember the game against Heretics? Like tons of weird stuff going on. So I don't think this is as like hard to sell. I mean, like easy, but I still
There's no
have
other
them in
teams
such
to
a
beat them.
high tier. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
That's the thing. And like all they have to do is like what you're saying. Just both teams just have to keep it simple.
Yep.
None of this crazy stuff. Just normal rolls. Maybe some double duelists. Maybe get Zipan on raise. And Giants, same thing. Just to do some normal stuff. Both of these teams will sail through. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, definitely seems that way. Again, shout out to Fnatic for that one. All right. I mean, it's apt that why are we spent? I mean, I do want to talk about it briefly because I do think it's really interesting. Unless I don't know how much time we have, but even just spending like 10 minutes on this or something, I do think it's interesting. It was a dumb thread, which was could Sideshow realistically coach Karmine Corp? But I do think it genuinely raises an interesting question that specifically with Sliggy here, I thought would be fun and interesting to talk about, which is essentially the requisites for being a coach, assistant coach, or analyst in Valorant. Because I think there's an interesting dichotomy of people who are very good at their jobs and people who a company hired, so people assume they're doing stuff, which has been always prevalent in all esports. I mean, I know you have, I've heard you rant and regale tales from the Overwatch League with that early on, Josh, of just the amount of people that were getting hired that were, just not doing anything. But Sliggy, I am interested very much in hearing your perspective on the requisites to being a coach. And could Sideshow
so
realistically coach K Corp?
Where
I
is
think
this thread? Sorry, go on. Carry on.
It's
I'm
on
just gonna look
Reddit
for it.
somewhere. Yeah, you can find it. It's so at least where I view coaching. If I just do like a straight up side comparison, like what I did and what Mini did was very different at the time. Because what I was doing was like you're just kind of filling the void of the team a lot of the time. Like you're literally just like plugging all the holes in terms of like what you're lacking, and then you're filling that void a lot. So a lot of it's just like basic fundamentals, making sure no one overpeaks, just like VOD reviews, and just making sure that everyone's just literally just not making dumb mistakes. And then at least my role was doing a lot of the IGLing stuff, which kind of feels like that would be similar to the K Corp stuff as well. Whereas like Mini coaching is more just like, well, that's the reason why Fnatic just has the super team, right? Here, Boaster was doing all the IGLing, all the strats, and he was just there just being like, right, cutthroat upgrades. Like you look at all the people that he kicked, like Mystic, Magnum, like they're all decent. Enzo, they're all on a decent team now, but it's just the fact that they got replaced by gods of the game. And I think that's kind of what you got to be as well, like in terms of it, just cutthroat upgrades all the time. And by the sounds of the thing that you wanted to do with Cloud9, it sounds like maybe you're cutthroat enough to be the coach for this. But I think you'd have to do a lot of strat stuff, because I feel like that's where K-Corp lack.
It's I'm looking at the thread now, and I think that the most upvoted comment is very reasonable. Like, the vast majority of broadcast talent are simply too inexperienced in the actual rigmarole of coaching to deserve immediate promotion. I mean, the thread doesn't even say, could I coach Karmine Corp? The thread says, should they sign me as head coach for 2024? Like, not even, like, at some point, it might be a fun idea to be, like, an analyst for a team or an assistant coach or something like that. And I think that would be a good thing to transition into if you really wanted, if you were a member of broadcast talent and you wanted to take that into a more team focused approach. But going into a head coach role immediately is like just asking for, I am out of my depth and don't know the basics of like I've never organized a scrim in Valorant. What am I doing in the head coach position? Like, guys, please run me through how scrims work. Like, it's just a totally different situation. It doesn't make sense. But at the same time, I don't know. There are definitely some transferable skills, and there are people that have made it work, right? To some degree, but a lot of those have had player experience before as well. Like Potter and Sean are the people that come to mind, but they're kind of like broadcast talent because they have those skills. They're not in, you know what I mean? Like they already had the skills necessary to be able to do something like coaching, and they used it to go into broadcast talent as well as coaching.
I mean, that doesn't mean that you can't develop those skills independently of, having a pro playing career, but that's how most coaches in regular sports, traditional sports are, built up. It's not having a playing career and focusing from the outset on coaching. And
at the beginning
that works quite well.
At the beginning of Valorant, I interviewed for a GM position, actually. And then it wasn't a good opportunity, particularly. So I just didn't go for it. But, I mean, broadcast work is also fucking a vibe. Like, why would I want to be the coach of a team that you're, like, you can affect things to a large degree, but you can't control whether or not they're going to win or lose a tournament, and you're going to get judged on the success of the players and what you can do. Like, people don't know the salaries that you're working with. People don't know the personalities of the players. People don't know the help that you have from the organization or from other coaches. There's no transparency there, partly because teams don't want to give it away to other teams, and partly because organizations don't want to reveal salary details and stuff. But it's just so much pressure involved in a role like that for no upside compared to doing commentary work.
My secondary... Oh, go on, Sliggy, sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say, I can safely say that, like, all of the stress and, like, in terms of if I compare, like, what I'm doing now to where I was a year ago in terms of just, like, the stress and the amount of work that I'm having to do now, even though I'm covering, like, all regions, like, all 4 regions at the moment, it's nothing in comparison to the amount of work I was doing when I was coaching. Like, this is, like, really chill. Like, it's really full on. And at the same time, it's just one of those jobs where it's, like, you take the fall for when you lose, and then when you win, it's like you just push them forward and they take all the glory. And it's literally just one of those roles where it is like, it's a lose-lose. It is literally a lose-lose role, unless you're somehow mini and you're just winning everything.
my secondary question to you, though, Sliggy, then, is how would someone effectively prove themselves to be a worthy coach if someone is trying to become one with no experience? What do you think is the best way to do that, then?
See, I think it's hard. It depends what your goals are. A lot of the time, like, I would personally, like, if I wanted to, I would rely on word of mouth of, like, people that you've coached already. Like, I think that's a good thing. That's how I would imagine I would get picked up again. But in terms of, like, proving it, I think you just got to start with like analyst stuff. You just got to start and just work your way up. The hardest thing is getting the foot in the door. You got to get your foot in the door somewhere, and then you just gotta hope that people are like, damn, this guy works really hard. He's got some cool stuff, and then word of mouth within like the pro scene goes pretty hard, to be honest. So by kind of just finding the teams and just finding the teams that I think you have potential. Like if I look at the teams at the moment, I'm looking at like you should probably look at tier 2 teams more if you haven't got experience. But if you're looking at teams, you're looking at like Na'Vi, K Corp, like the ones that have decent players but feel like you could get them to crazy potential. I think they're the ones that you kind of want to be coaching because you can see instant impact. But I'll also say from like an outsider point of view, it's very hard to actually judge coaches and how good coaches are. The normal reason that I will be like, I rate this coach is like multiple teams. They can take multiple teams and do good stuff with multiple teams, then you kind of know. Because the inner workings of teams, we have no idea what's going on. Like you have no idea who's carrying that team, and like who's doing loads of legwork and stuff. So in terms of like when I'm judging a coach and if I think they're good or not, it's more just like, damn, this guy did it with like this lineup and this lineup. Like Honor, like MC, those kind of people are good examples of like coaches I rate.
I just judge coaches based off of how entertaining they are to watch on the coach cam. Simply put.
Yeah, respect.
Yeah.
So go on.
The other point though to make though is that there are a lot of people that have got their foot in the door by doing a lot of like content creation kind of stuff. Like people that post the tweets of like, you know, this is some cool stat that I found, or people that post some, you know, YouTube video of like breaking down X defaults or whatever. There's a lot of people that get noticed and picked up for smaller teams by doing some of that. I mean, we were talking about Bleed earlier. I'm pretty sure that's how Ominous got picked up, wasn't it? And Slow was doing some of that stuff too.
Yep.
Anders has done some work for Fnatic after primarily doing like content kind of coaching stuff. And yeah, there's a bunch of coaches that they don't have a great understanding of the game, and I can tell by talking to them that they don't have a great understanding of the game. And I think that that'll change over time. Like a lot of those people will end up getting pushed down, but also some of the jobs might just not even require it. Like some of the things might be, you know, they're more person relations, or some of it might be that they only work on specific utility lineups, so they don't even need to know really how it combines together. They're just trying to provide value to the team in whatever way they can.
I think that's a good point in terms of like plugging the holes, but have like a specialty. Like Anders the Fnatic pickup is just like really good with stats, and I mean he's kind of an all-rounder to be honest, but he's like really good with like stats and he like overanalyzes a lot of stuff. And kind of make sure you have like a specialty, and then find the team that needs that. If your foot's already in the door, you gotta specialize in something. Even with what you're saying, like the people that don't have the best game understanding, if they're like really good with stats and it's just like, dude, I can give you all of these stats from your practice and we can actually work out what's going wrong. Like 100 Thieves needed that with how many ops they were buying. I mean, Loud needed that, to be honest, with the fact they're only buying one op in Tokyo. Like they need the stats to be like a big win condition is you getting the op, and you only kind of realize that with the stats in like your practices and in official games. So yeah, have a specialty, I guess is the best way to sum it up.
Cool. I appreciate the answers. I think that's a good deep dive that the people will enjoy very much. All right, that is going to do it for the show, except for the weekly award, and then we're getting the hell out of here. Hello? Oh yeah, no, that's fine. I'll put them right on. It's for you. All right. We're back to honest to God weekly awards. You guys were talking about them earlier, and I saved myself to kind of go off in the same positive way. But I wanted to give it to Jonah P because he is for me one of the most improved players of some large stretch of time. It feels like to me. The level of play that he was on in this second stage of the Challengers season and then into this LAN was just outlandish. I think for a stage 2 online, he was just the straight up, without a doubt, MVP for me. He was in unbelievable god form individually and with everything you guys were talking about as far as how excellent he is with the utility with the team right now, and then continued to just show that at
the LAN, despite, I guess, to some extent, Trent kind of going crazy more so in the fragging department than him. But he still had so many crucial moments where he was able to get multi-kills that put guard in significant advantages. So for that, it's like the most improved player Wyatt's Weekly award. I'm blown away by how good this guy has gotten. And to me, it's what at this point is like really rounding out this guard roster to be an actual top echelon contender in the scene right now. And I'm just very, very excited to see, further how much better he can get heading into next year in the franchise league. It's going to be awesome to watch him and of course the rest of the guard, but god damn, he has gotten super good. And for that, boom, weekly award. No Nepo baby award, real honest to God Valorant player award. Boom. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you, Sliggy, for coming on as well. And shout out again to Paperthin, who joined us for the first half of the episode to dispense the Pacific knowledge. And we will see you for episode 140. And in the future, we're going to cover all the EMEA Ascension tournament. Obviously, tons of LCQ stuff to talk about as all of these are kicking off within the next week or so, essentially. I think all of them start within the next week. So tons to talk about with LCQ. And then after that, we're right into Champions. So whole lot of content, whole lot of stuff going on in the Valorant scene. God. And we are your source. We are the tap of knowledge. So if you're not subscribed, do that. And then, whatever, leave a comment about whatever. And we will see you next time for episode 140.